Eli Savoy. The first hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by Action247.com. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I got a piece of land out in the countryside. Lay back and smell the sun. Warm up the Georgia pie. It's so good to be taking it easy. Why would I ever leave? 'Cause I know I got some good friends.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome into Sports 56 Middays as we kick off the new week, the final week of October for 2020. It's the Monday, October 26th, 2020 edition to be exact. Hope you had a terrific weekend. It was a fun sports weekend, and we're here to talk about it for the next 3 hours. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Gabe Kuhn. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. The world's biggest spa sale going on right now at Family Leisure. When you stop by to check out those beautiful spas, make sure to ask for an official Sports 56 mask while supplies last. The first hour of the program also brought to you by Action247.com. On the program today, we will recap a busy weekend in college football, the Big Ten with their first games, and pretty eventful. Some interesting stuff from the Big Ten this weekend, including a near-perfect performance by Justin Fields from Ohio State and a near-perfect performance by a guy named Graham Mertz, the quarterback for Wisconsin, who now, at least according to one report, tested positive for COVID-19. But they're taking some additional tests, and we'll see what happens there because of the stringent Big Ten guidelines there. You're talking about the possibility of missing 3 weeks. So we'll discuss the Big Ten, and, of course, right here in Memphis, the Memphis Tigers' victory over the Temple Owls with a big second half and a 41-29 win. We'll talk SEC. Ole Miss looked like they had one against Auburn, and Auburn ended up getting the win in the end. Did they get another break? Auburn has had some breaks this year. We will discuss that game. Tennessee gets clobbered by Alabama, but Alabama loses one of their studs. So plenty of college football talk. Barrett Salih, who joins us every Monday, will join us at 11:05 from SiriusXM College Radio and CBS Sports. We'll talk NFL. A lot of games down to the wire and then some yesterday. We got a Monday night game that we'll have for you tonight here on Sports 56, the Bears and the Rams. So we'll recap the National Football League. And we'll talk World Series as well. The Dodgers a win away from winning their first World Series since 1988. But what a weekend. What a Game 4 on Saturday. And then the Dodgers winning Game 5 yesterday to take a 3-2 lead. The Rays need to win on Tuesday to force a decisive Game 7. We got 5 favorite songs. Today's topic is move, moved, or moving. So make sure to send in your list via the First Bank text line at 67129. If you're watching us live, you can message us with those lists at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram. That's the lineup. You can always hit us up via that First Bank text line with any comment or question you have. And while supplies last, you can give us a call on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255. Eli Savoy, how are you today?
Greg, I am doing good. It was a fun weekend. There was a lot of good stuff going on Saturday. We had some great games yesterday. My weekend kicked off with a crazy high school football game on Friday night with Christian Brothers over at Conway, Arkansas, against the old Wampus Cats, which was fun.
Did they have a mascot? Did they have a little fake mascot, a person in a costume? What did it look like if they did?
I did not see any mascot running around.
Okay.
But let me tell you, man, that place is nice. I had heard it was nice. Mm-hmm. Brett Nordsworthy had told me that it's a very nice facility, and boy, oh boy, he wasn't lying. They've got 2. Not one, but 2 indoor practice facilities.
What?
They have 2 indoor practice facilities.
Oh my gosh!
Because I got there and I parked, and right next to where I parked, it says like Conway Indoor Practice Facility, and I'm like, wow! I mean, that's pretty nice for a high school when you got your own indoor practice facility. And so then I was as the president. I was talking to one of the coaches from Christian Brothers, and he said, the building we're in also has an indoor practice facility.
Oh my gosh!
It was that one was like 50-yarder. I don't know how big the one is, the new one. I think maybe Peyton Hillis, who went there, may have funded or at least partially funded the newer one. I guess.
Former Razorback stud.
But man, oh man, when you're in high school and you got 2 indoor practice facilities, that's pretty darn nice. And then they play. They're like UCF fast. That's how fast they play offensively. I was told they play fast. I don't think I've ever seen a high school team play that fast. I mean, it literally is. They are waiting for the official to put the ball down so they can snap it. They just keep coming at you. In high school, that's pretty effective because you just don't see many that can go that fast in high school.
I know the brothers lost the game, but how were they able to handle that speed going up against them defensively?
Well, I mean, it was hard. Now the good thing for them is when they had the ball, they're able to run it, and Dallin Hayden went over 300 yards and had a huge
incredible.
game. And
Absolutely incredible.
They at least got to get their defense some rest because they're out there. They had some longer time-consuming drives and stuff like that. But it was difficult. I mean, they didn't do well against it. They gave up 49 points, and the quarterback for Conway threw 6 touchdowns. I mean, they forced, I think, 3 punts. But it was difficult. They made a lot of big plays. When it's for high school kids, I think trying to get set defensively when they're spreading you out like that, and then they had a good running back who they're like young. They have like a couple of sophomores that are really good. But yeah, it was not a fun night for the defense.
Well, get used to it because that's the type of football we're seeing in this day and age. If teams aren't playing that style, they're going to be playing it sooner than later. Nick Saban comes out and says how you need the offense. It's all about the offense now. And this is a guy who for years and years and years, hung his reputation on how well the team played defensively. Now it's can you outscore your opponent? So it's happening at all levels of football. It's happening certainly in the NFL and college, and that's a perfect example of it happening in high school football. But again, hats off to Dallin. He is just an incredible running back, and I think this kid is going to make whatever program he decides to go to very, very happy. He is the real deal and then some. But Dallin Hayden, a terrific game in a loss. All right, here in Memphis on Saturday, it was cold. Let me tell you something. It was cold. I did not heed the advice, and I'm not going to say they gave me personal advice, but if I read the forecast correctly like I should have brought a jacket. It was cold on the sideline at the University of Memphis Tigers game versus Temple on Saturday.
You didn't bring a jacket?
No.
What did you think it was going to be?
I brought an Under Armour, what do you call those things? Go under your shirt. I don't even know what they're called, but an under, it's like, it keeps you pretty warm. What's it called, Gabe? You put under your...
A compression shirt?
Yes, a compression shirt. Wore a compression shirt, wore my regular shirt, and then I had a light cotton bowl jacket. So I brought a jacket, but I didn't bring the heavy jacket that I could have brought. It was 50. It was cold, but it made it colder because it was so windy out there. And that wind certainly affected the kicking game and to some extent the passing game in that contest. And then it was gray and gloomy, so it was football weather, to be honest with you. But the Tigers get a nice win over Temple. They extract a little revenge from what happened last year. They win it 41-29 with a big second half. They outscore the Owls 31-14. And so the Tigers improved to 3-1 overall and 2-1 in the conference. The Tigers won the turnover battle 4-3, and they took advantage of those 4 turnovers. They scored 24 points off those 4 turnovers. Brady White struggled a little bit in the first half, but I think the win had a lot to do with it. And there were a couple of plays when he had his receiver, and one went through the hands of Calvin Austin, but boy, did they make up for it in the second half. And Austin was tremendous with 6 catches, 184 yards, and a touchdown. Brady ends up 17 of 36, but for 313, 4 touchdowns, and 1 pick. And then Dree Clark, another 100-yard rushing game, 22 carries, 106 yards. I thought the Tigers defensively did a great job against the rush, against the pass. Once again, they struggled. But the physicality that they're playing with, the level, I think it exceeded UCF's physicality last Saturday, and I think it matched Temple's. And that's saying a lot because Temple probably the most physical team in the conference. So a good win for the Tigers, and they're going to have to be much better this Saturday, as you know, when they go to Cincinnati to play an 11 o'clock game against the Bearcats.
Yeah, certainly, again, the offense continues to be impressive, and they continue to rack up the yards and things. And even at halftime, like, I never felt at any point in time in that game like they were in trouble.
Me too. Me too.
Because there were a couple of missed opportunities in that first half where guys were, got open and deep balls that Brady missed. But I do think the wind, trying to judge the wind on some of those throws, absolutely played a factor in those. But yeah, I mean, I just felt like watching. They're clearly going to win this game, and they got it figured out. But certainly the defense is concerning. And it's every game now. You feel like the other team's going to rack up, 350 through the air and probably 500 overall. Like it just feels that way. Like they can't stop anybody right now.
Anthony Russo threw the ball 63 times. So Temple did something that they don't usually do. They're more balanced in offense. They like to run the ball, and they ran the ball pretty effectively early. But they realized that they're not going to be able to slow down the Memphis offense unless they keep turning them over. But in the second half, when Memphis got into that rhythm and they took advantage of scoring those touchdowns off the turnovers, Temple knew that they were going to have to try to match them. And so they went into an aerial attack that you don't normally see. But why did you see it? Because, again, the numbers tell you can pass against that Memphis secondary. They were the worst in the nation coming into that game. So they abandoned the run, and they strictly went to the air. And Russo hit some nice passes, but he also threw some up there for grabs. Memphis gets 3 interceptions. And then again, in the second half, the one time you're going towards the north end zone, you're going against the wind, and that was troublesome. So Russo did, I think, the best he could. Temple went away from what they normally do because they realized they were in a shootout. And I think most of the games that Memphis will play, if not all the rest of their games, they will be going up against teams that will try to throw on them because they have seen teams have a lot of success.
Yeah, they're now, I was just checking, they're still last in pass defense by a wide margin, but they're only 20 yards now from the next worst team.
I guess that's good.
And that's Wyoming, who's only played one game. And so they gave up 420 to Nevada. But if you go against to the next closest team that's played multiple games, they are 72 yards worse than anybody else.
The reason they won that game was, as I said earlier, they took advantage of those turnovers. 4 turnovers they forced and scored 24 points off them. Temple had 3 turnovers against Memphis and only could score 3. So after the Tigers turned it over, the defense tightened, and they prevented Cincinnati from scoring other than the 3 points. And that was the difference in the game. Now, this Saturday, and Gabe and I, we were talking before the show started about Desmond Ridder, that here's a guy who can certainly beat you with his legs. He can throw the ball okay, but he's not this chucker. He's not Shane Buechele. He's not Brady White. And this game on Saturday, again, is going to be a physical game. It's on the road. Memphis obviously beat Cincinnati twice last year, including the championship game. And if you guys watched it at all, because I watched a good portion of the Cincinnati game at SMU on Saturday, they look really, really good. And they took SMU behind the woodshed. And SMU, of course, beat Memphis in a game where if the Tigers don't turn it over, maybe they win the game, but it was close. This game was not close after the first quarter and a half. Cincinnati looked good. But you think Ridder is certainly a guy who's gettable because he doesn't have this huge arm and he's not going to be throwing it all over the field.
I think he's very inaccurate downfield, in all honesty. He's okay in the intermediate areas, but the truth of the matter is they beat SMU behind 313 yards rushing. Desmond Ridder had 8 for 179. So you do the average on that. That's a lot. You're gonna have to account for him running the ball more than you have to account for him throwing the ball, which is a good thing you would think. But you can't just assume that they're not going to come and try to expose what everyone has seemingly exposed to this point.
Doesn't Luke Fickell again look at the tape, look at the numbers, and say, I know we're very effective running the ball, and we'll try to run early on, but Memphis isn't too bad against the run. But they're really bad against the pass. So we're going to pass the ball a little bit more. Wouldn't you want – again, it was with Rod Carey. He changed up what he normally does. So you're going to see what McIntyre does defensively as the defensive coordinator for the Tigers, and if he changes anything up, and you're going to try to exploit that. But the Tigers offensively, even though Cincinnati's physical, I love the way Memphis has played as far as physical football the last few weeks. And I think that they won't back down to the challenge at all against Cincinnati.
I will say this. Between the two quarterbacks at Arkansas State, Shane Bichelle, Dylan Gabriel, and Anthony Russo, as far as your gunslinging quarterbacks, they're sort of out of the way. Those are probably the four most gunslinging mentality quarterbacks you're going to have to face the rest of the way. I mean,
I think it's a good point. What about the Houston quarterback? What's his name? Toon? Is it Toon?
Yeah, Clayton Tune.
Yeah, is he chucking it around? I mean, they beat Navy pretty solidly over the weekend, so that's a team that I wouldn't. I know BYU beat them up. Houston had the lead 26-14 in that game in the third quarter, and then BYU just steamrolled them in the fourth quarter. But Houston had a nice win over Navy. That was Navy's first loss in the conference. So you got Houston win 37-21. You got to deal with them at the end of the year, the makeup game, which will be in Memphis. You still got to deal with the triple option offense of Navy. You still have to play, obviously, the Cincinnati game. Tulane at Tulane, and Tulane got beat by UCF in a shootout. So there are some teams that can score points, but I think you're absolutely right. As far as the gunslingers, the teams that play really, really fast offensively, they're out of the way.
Hell, the way this pass defense is playing, Navy might come in and throw it 50 times. I mean, why wouldn't you? Like, you don't have to do much. You just got the guys are running open. You just,
you're right.
I mean, they're giving up 420 yards a game.
What's the most attempts?
440, excuse me.
What's the most attempts Navy has had, passing attempts, I wonder, in the last 3 years? Because I think for sure they're going to pass that. No pun intended.
I have no idea what that number is, but yeah, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't at this point. If you just look at this defense, you'd say, man, why not throw the ball against them continuously until they show that they can actually stop it? And yeah, Cincinnati was impressive. I still cannot figure out why the line in that game was what it was. That just never did make sense. But that was impressive what they did to SMU. But Cincinnati is holding SMU to 13 points on top of what they did offensively. But to hold SMU to 13 points, that's a pretty good SMU offense. And granted, they were without a couple of their big weapons, but still. Stop holding them to 13 points is impressive.
Well, they made it I'm not going to say a living hell for Shane Buechele, but they got a lot of pressure on him and made him have to think a lot and be lively on his feet. Cincinnati 42, SMU 13. I thought that was one of the most impressive performances of the weekend. I mentioned UCF 51-34 over Tulane in a game that saw 85 points scored. And then Friday night, very quietly, Tulsa. Now, USF is another team Memphis plays. They'll play them at home. They're not real good. But Tulsa is, and they won 42-13. They're kind of the wild card team in the American Conference. But I think we'll get a little more clarity this weekend when the Tigers travel to Cincinnati. The early line, the Tigers are 6.5-point underdogs. 6.5-point underdogs at Cincinnati.
You just brought up Tulsa, so I had to. It seems like Philip Montgomery, since he's been there, gets that once every 5-year team. That's just very solid, and this seems like that team for him.
Defensively, they're really good.
I think they are too. I'm looking at now. Memphis doesn't play Tulsa, right? They don't meet the Golden Hurricanes, so they got to hope that Tulsa gets knocked off somewhere. And now with SMU having already lost to them, SMU only has the one loss, so. Memphis still needs some help as far as that's concerned. But winning Saturday at Cincinnati will go a long way. If they lose that game, that'll be the second conference loss and will put them in a huge hole. But it was fun on Saturday despite the cold. Kudos to the people that came out to watch the game, to watch the Tigers get that victory, and they continue this amazing streak at home. They are just winning just about every single game at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. Just a gaudy record since 2016, I think it is, now 27 or 28-3, whatever it is. Pretty special for what the Tigers are doing. And hats off to all the guys once again stepping up. They did not have the services of T.J. Carter again. You have those young wide receivers that are just making a name for themselves, and Calvin Austin just 5'9", laying out and not afraid to go out there amongst the trees and get knocked around. And he has been a breath of fresh air. We saw him last year, of course, but this year really taking that step up to be the number one guy. Sean Dykes was not used as much as he's been so far this year in that game against Temple. Maybe they took Dykes away, but they did not take away Calvin Austin, what he was able to do.
We've got a couple of texts here on the Tigers that we'll get to coming up in just a moment. Also, some other texts on college football. If you want to chime in, you can. 67129 is the First Bank text line. That's 67129. You can also call in on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255, 360-8255.
And Calvin Austin, I just saw this, has been named to the American Conference Weekly Honor Roll. Again, congratulations to the young man from Harding, as he had a big game with 6 catches, 184 yards, and a touchdown. Landmark Construction and Emergency Services. Water damage to your home or business is an absolute nightmare, and the faster you remove that standing water, the faster you can prevent secondary damage. Landmark Construction and Emergency Services specializes in water extraction. They have been a trusted name in the Mid-South for over 20 years. They are a Memphis-based company ready to serve your needs with their 24-hour emergency response. They're always on call, and they're going to respond to you within an hour. They work with most insurance companies. They're the official restoration contractor of the Memphis Tigers home team. Landmark Construction and Emergency Services can't prevent disasters in your home or at your business, but their water damage team will certainly respond quickly to minimize and restore the damage. So you have an issue with that standing water. Don't wait. Call Landmark Construction and Emergency Services today and tell them you heard it here on Sports 56 Middays. Call 901-452-0390. That's 901-452-0390. Or online at landmarkco.org. Middays continues. This is Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1 and 98.5 FM.
Grab a seat for a happy hour with John Harden
Passengers will please fasten their seatbelts.
on Sports 56 Happy Hour. Weekdays from 1 to 3 on Sports 56, 98.5 FM and 96.1 FM.
Jeep Adventure Days and Ram Power Days are rocking at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on Covington Pike. And guess who's got #1 ranked brand in initial quality and driver appeal among mass market brands? We Gossett! 2020 Jeep Cherokee Latitude IIHS top safety pick. $21,560 or $275 a month. Or get muscle with 2020 Dodge Challenger XST with best in-class cargo volume. $24,348 or $314 a month. Plus get ramped up in a 2020 Ram 1500 Classic Crew Cab 4x2 We Gossett at $388 a month. Drive past the rest. Come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat 1901 Covington Pike. Online, GossettMotorCars.net. If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars. Ranked by J.D. Powers IQS and Appeal Studies. All 75 months at 4.11 APR. 3,500 down. Must finance through Chrysler Cherokee. LD 643160. MSRP 28,190. Challenger LHS 214,740. MSRP 31,180. Ram LG 293,29. MSRP 37,855. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 11/1/2020 with approved credit dealer stock only.
Did you know Prilosec OTC can stop frequent heartburn before it begins? Yep, I said before. Block heartburn at the source by taking the Prilosec OTC 2-week challenge. With just 1 pill a day, you get 24-hour heartburn relief. That's all day. Start the 2-week challenge today at prilosecotc.com and live heartburn-free. Just 1 pill a day, 24 hours, 0 heartburn. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Looking for a high-efficiency planting solution? The Case IH 2150 Early Riser Planter combines the industry's most accurate planter technologies with a rugged row unit for a fast and uniform emergence. The Case IH 2150 Early Riser operates at your speed and adapts to unique field conditions so that you can maximize your yield potential. Stop in or call Mid-South Ag Equipment at 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag, your Case IH Equipment headquarters.
Ugh, I have to do laundry when I get home. I have to lug all my clothes over to the washing machine. Then I get to put them in the dryer and accidentally shrink my cashmere sweater again.
Motorcycles make everything exciting. And when Geico makes it easy to switch and save on motorcycle insurance, it's even more exciting.
I'm gonna fold all my socks into little balls. Yeah!
Geico Motorcycle. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
You get to choose at Gossett Kia on the Pike. Right now, take your pick from 2021 Kia Forte or 2020 Kia Soul. $149 a month lease, 36 months. Plus the all-new 2021 Kia K5 with more passenger cargo headroom and legroom volume than Toyota Camry. Plus a warranty that blows Toyota away with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Now $189 a month lease, 36 months and get 2020 K900 $10,000 off MSRP. So get your Kia on at Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike or shop 24/7 KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J and he'll put you in a new Kia today.
Leases $31.49 due at signing. 0 security deposit excludes ACQ fee $10,000 per year. 20 cents excess mileage. $650 acquisition fee. Forte ME $275 $992. MSRP $20,510. Sold L706 $3372. MSRP $21,885. K5 MG 003 MSRP $25,725. K900 MSRP $65,610. L60 $26,907. L60 $21,220. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF $695. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 11/1/2020. Dealer stock only. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by Action247.com. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Cause I'm a picker, I'm a grinner, I'm a lover, and I'm a sinner.
For what it's worth, as far as the polls are concerned, the AP poll, that's the writers' poll, the Tigers finished 26th. So one spot out of the top 25. They got 105 votes. And from the coaches, they got 88 votes, which would place them 28th. So starting to get that respect again. They were a top 25 team to begin the year. Obviously, if they beat Cincinnati, Eli, they'll shoot right up into the top 25 solidly. But right now, they're just on the outside looking in.
A couple of texts here on the First Bank text line. So it says, Ivory, Austin, Washington, and Dykes are high-level Tiger players. In my opinion, the loss of Coxie did not damage the team whatsoever. Go Tigers. Well, certainly those guys are stepping up, but DeMonte Coxie was pretty darn good. It's hard to say it didn't hurt the team whatsoever. I mean, the guy put up massive numbers for 2+ years.
Well, again, this is just me and my opinion from being in this business 35 years. DeMonte Coxie is definitely an NFL player. The other guys could be NFL players, and they are certainly moving in a positive trajectory. But that's just not right. It's not correct to say that. Yes, there are guys stepping up, but you're losing Coxie. You're losing an all-conference performer. So that was a big loss. You lost Kenneth Gainwell. That was a big loss. But what it's showing is the depth that the Tigers have and the recruiting that this coaching staff has been doing over the last 2-3 years.
And even, again, and it's great those guys are stepping up, but it's never a bad thing to have more guys. And when you have a DeMonte Coxie plus those guys, I mean, that just increases your the number of options you have. So
correct.
Yeah, it's great, and that's great. And these guys are certainly fantastic players, but to say it doesn't hurt at all when you lose a guy like Coxie, that's hard to say that. Do we need better schemes, better players, or better coaching on defense? Well, you're making a switch in scheme, obviously, with Mike McIntyre coming in. I don't know.
How about healthier players? They've been hit pretty bad in the secondary. When you don't have T.J. Carter in, who's a guy who could play in the NFL.
Certainly injuries have been a part of it.
I mean, how about more practice? And I think, yes, to a certain extent, you might need to go, you absolutely need to go recruit defensive backs in the offseason. That's goes without saying. But I think they needed more time to adjust to the system, and they just haven't gotten that.
Yeah, look, McIntyre, 1 year at Ole Miss, they improved immensely from the year prior. Now, they were still bad, but they improved. They didn't have the Jimmies and the Joes, but McIntyre was a 2-time Coach of the Year in 2 different conferences, so I don't think it's the coaching. I think it's more the scheme and what you said, Gabe, getting used to it, lack of practices. Now, it's interesting. People said going into the season that the defenses would be ahead of the offenses in football, period, whatever level it is, because of the lack of time practicing. It couldn't be any further from the truth. Offenses all seem to be ahead of the defenses.
Yeah, I think the lack of contact and stuff like that has clearly hurt defenses.
Yep, I agree.
There's no doubt that defenses have been hurt by all of the things that went on and all that stuff. And if you're trying to put in a new scheme in this, that certainly even sets you back further. And the Tigers are one of the teams showing that.
And one other thing, the Tigers now, their defensive front, they have really active linebackers. I really like what the linebackers are doing. And then the guys on the defensive line, O'Brien, Goodson, and company, they are stopping the rush, or at least slowing down the rush. They're doing a real good job filling the holes. They're not getting, though, the pressure on the quarterbacks as much as they need to. They did get some pressure the last couple of weekends, but not as much as they need to. So I think that also helps your secondary if you can get some pressure on the quarterbacks and make them run around a little bit. When they have a clean pocket and they have time to throw, they're going to pick you apart normally if they're competent quarterbacks.
Another text here on the First Bank text line says Cincinnati could get in the playoff if a team or two stumbles. I don't think they will. But they at least the good thing for them is part of because of the weirdness of this season and teams not playing and all that stuff. Like at least they're up there in the polls already. Like it's not like they're trying to battle, and then you finally maybe get into the top 10 like the last week of the year. The fact that they're up there already helps them, but I still don't think that there's any chance that a team out of the American would get in.
Yeah, I mean, in years past, you would chuckle at a statement like that, but I'm sure that person wouldn't have made the statement in years past. Everything's different now, so it's not completely out of the question. I still think it's a minuscule chance because the Big Ten, the Pac-12, they've returned. And if they didn't return to football, then I think it would be a pretty decent chance that Cincinnati, if they ran the table, would be able to get into the playoff or at least get a real serious sniff. I still think now, because everybody's playing again, it's going to be awfully tough.
It's also, for those teams like Cincinnati or it was UCF in the past or Memphis or whoever, to try and even have the thought of getting in, you need those non-conference games against some Power 5 opponents, and that's what this year hurt is when you eliminate those, then you don't have that thing of like, look, we beat this team who is competitive or whatever in their conference, and so you're just trying. It's going to be weird for the committee overall, and I can't see them giving that much respect for a team that's outside of the Power 5.
Right, I can't see the committee when they get to this discussion going, all right, they don't have these non-conference games or big non-conference wins because they didn't play any. But that American Conference, that's tough top to bottom, and it's better than the Big 12 or better than the Pac-12. They're not going to say that because I still believe there's the bias against the group of fives with the Power Fives. They're always going to give the benefit of the Power Fives. So I think that'll be awfully tough for Cincinnati.
Now, the conference champions out of, you end up with outside of, say, Alabama and Clemson, like – Ohio State looks like they're probably going to be up there. Now, maybe if there's no other team, with less than 2 losses or something, then it's going to take drastic stuff from the other conferences for Cincinnati to be able to have that argument and be able to get in.
It'll also be interesting how they handle BYU. BYU's going to play Boise State, and Boise State looked good in their first game. That doesn't mean that that's the way they'll look the rest of the season. But Boise State always seems to get the benefit of the doubt as a group of 5 team. BYU's an independent. If they run the table with a win over Boise State, they're going to get some consideration.
A Mississippi State fan who texted in. So this past Saturday was the best football weekend for Mississippi State fans since the LSU game. Losing by 70 to Alabama on Halloween will be scary. Yeah, I wouldn't have real high expectations for what's going to happen for them this week. That's for sure.
Well, unfortunately, at least you won't have to deal with Jalen Waddle. Boy, that was horrible to see in the Tennessee-Alabama game with Waddle going down early, out for the year. It's an ankle. And that'll be it, right? He's in his, third year?
I believe that's correct.
So he's on to the NFL. And this is an injury you're going to bounce back from. I mean, everybody says that, every story I've read. So it's unfortunate. He was having an amazing year. And it's unfortunate for Alabama because you're losing a big-time weapon. And I understand it's Alabama. You have another guy waiting in the wings. But I think this really hurts them because of how good he is returning kicks. And I do believe there is some issues in the secondary with Alabama. They are a complete team, but they're not as complete, in my opinion, as Clemson. And we'll see about Ohio State. It'll look pretty darn good in blowing out Nebraska. But I think that Jalen Waddle injury is big for Alabama. It won't affect their game against Mississippi State, unfortunately for the Bulldogs fan who just texted in. But it will, I think, or could be a factor later on down the road once we get to a playoff.
Raider Corey says, I think defenses as a whole are just way behind the offenses, NFL included.
Yep.
Mainly for some of the reasons you guys touched on. Next year, if things return to some normalcy, then we can critique and revisit Go Tigers. Yeah, I mean, obviously, again, for the Tigers in their situation with a new defensive coordinator, if Mike McIntyre stays here for another year, you would hope and you would think that things would be a lot better in year 2, especially if, yes, we get back to normal and they're able to have spring football and all of the other stuff, and actually you'll go out and recruit some players to the system he wants to run versus what was already here. So it needs to improve next year, but hopefully it can improve as this season goes along. And getting some guys healthy like TJ Carter would certainly be a nice step in that direction.
It was a limited SEC schedule on Saturday, just 4 games. One of those games happened to be in Oxford, where the Rebels ended up losing to Auburn 35-28. Now, that game was going on while the Tigers game was going on, and I'm working the sideline, so I couldn't pay attention to it. But afterwards, watching the highlights and reading a million different stories on that game, it seemed like, once again, Auburn got lucky to get a W, that they could have easily had a loss. They obviously were lucky with the officials in the game that they won against Arkansas. But there was also some issues with Ole Miss and maybe some clock management I read about. Also, the decision that Lane Kiffin made to bring in John Rice Plumlee. I'm sure you watched the game, Eli. What happened there with Ole Miss and how close they came to winning that game over Auburn?
Well, the controversial play on the kickoff, I certainly feel for Ole Miss fans, because to me, if you look at the replay and zoomed in, it looks like the ball touched the guy's finger. Because I don't know how else the guy's finger could move the way it did if the ball didn't touch it and make it move. So that's a very costly play. And Lane Kiffin said that he didn't challenge because one of the referees said they looked at it and didn't see any reason to stop play, which that's the part to me that's amazing, is how you have a play like that and you don't even stop play to look at least a little closer at it. I get it, you're always reviewing it, but if you're going to tell me there wasn't at least enough there to look at it closer, well, that doesn't make sense, because to me, you could see the guy's finger move backwards right as the ball gets to his hand, which would indicate that the ball is what made the finger move. That has to come from the booth. Yeah. And so, I mean, I don't know about the system that's in place. I mean, the dude looks down maybe one time to drink his coffee, and he misses the kickoff, and he misses that little thing. I'm not saying that happened, but they got to be more aware, or there should be a system where the referee down on the field can buzz up to him and say, let's take a look at that thing, because it's a tough situation for a college football coach. Because I see where Lane Kiffin, you're in a close game, all that, you may not want to burn a timeout on a challenge if the referee, and especially a guy's like, well, they looked at it. Because as he said, they're reviewing all of these. So why would I think, if they're not even willing to look at it closer, why should I think as a coach that if I challenge it, they're going to overturn it? Like, why waste the timeout? They don't even think it's good enough to look at, let alone overturn. So I'm probably just wasting a timeout if I challenge. That's exactly right, and that's a shame, because you're putting all your faith into that one person in the booth that they're going to do their job 100% all the time. Again, I'm not saying that person was there was neglect in doing their job, but a lot of times those things can happen. It's just so quick. It's bang, bang. Take the time to look at that. Maybe there's they worry about a game going too long. That has been they have stressed that for years now. We don't want to have these long games that last forever. We want these games to be quicker. So other games that are expected to come on right after on the network come on time, and ESPN doesn't have to throw games on different networks or wherever the games are. So there's a lot of things that come into play, but with just one challenge, unless you win the challenge, and having to use a timeout, which, again, if you lose the challenge, you lose the timeout. It's not worth it if it's not going to be in your favor. And if you're not getting any indication that it's going to go your way, it is hard for a coach to use that challenge. It is just a shame that there's not a more, in my opinion, a better way and a faster way for a referee on the field to be able to buzz upstairs and say, look at this one. And then just, hey, blow your whistle, timeout, let's take a look at it. It's an important play. I do give Matt Corral credit, because when he threw the interception in the end zone on their second drive of the day, I thought, oh, goodness gracious, like
It's another game.
Again? Is
another
this going to
Arkansas
happen
game.
again?
Right.
And then they brought Plumlee in, but Corral came back in, and Corral ended up playing a pretty decent game. Did throw one other interception, but ran the ball well, threw the ball all right, and they certainly had an opportunity to win the game. The fake field goal didn't go so well for them, but they gave themselves a chance, and they, unfortunately for Ole Miss, they keep giving themselves opportunities, but they can't quite figure. It's kind of one of those things that they just can't figure out a way to win yet.
And Gus apparently has a horseshoe up, as you know what.
Yeah, I mean they easily could have one win on the season, and he would be. If that was the case, I don't know that there would be a way for him to save his job. But they got the break against Arkansas. They get the break here against Ole Miss. And I will say that Tank Bigsby, that freshman running back, that dude is good.
He's good.
He's going to be really good. But Bo Nix, I don't know. Like I can't figure out Bo Nix. Like every time I watch Bo Nix play, I come away just kind of going, yeah.
Same with me.
He
looks like an average quarterback.
Like I don't look at him like being bad, but he just he never does anything that really makes me feel really good about him. I don't know. I don't ever have a real good reaction anyway. I'm always just kind of like, okay, he's out there. And he plays quarterback. That's what he does.
I thought he looked better last year. I think he's regressed a bit. But, again, you don't get the extra points for style. You don't get the extra points for luck. It's just win, baby. And that's what they did. So luck is on their side so far with the Auburn Tigers. We'll talk about Tennessee, Alabama, the other two SEC games that took place on Saturday, and some national games after the timeout. I do want to tell you about this Memphis sports fact. It's brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Did you know since the 2000-2001 season, the Memphis Tigers men's basketball team failed to reach 20 or more wins in a season just 3 times? 2014-15 when they got 18 wins under Josh Pastner. 2015-16 when they got 19 wins under Josh Pastner, and 2016-17 when they got 19 wins under Tubby Smith. James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar Avenue between Mendenhall and St. Elmo. Online, gaddisjewelers.com. Give them a call at 901-767-9648. Your bridal, engagement, and anniversary jeweler headquarters been serving Memphians and Mid-Southerners for over 23 years. They are full-service jewelers with 2-bench jewelers ready to serve you daily. All their diamonds are independently graded and certified. They know there's a lot of competition out there, so they have a price point to suit everyone's budget. It's James Gaddis Jewelers. They've been doing it right for over 23 years at that same location, 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Elmo. Stop by, say hello, tell them you heard it here on Sports 56 Middays, 901-767-9648, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. More college football talk when we return. This is Sports 56 Middays.
Let Dave Voloshin and Brett Nordsworthy take you home with Sports Time on Sports 56. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on Sports 56, 98.5 and 96.1.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Fiveash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
It's back, the Carhartt Crazy Sale at Frontier Western Store in Olive Branch. Visit Frontier this month for huge markdowns on clearance Carhartt items. The latest fall line just launched, and Frontier is fully stocked. We've got jeans, shirts, bib overalls, jackets, coats, gloves, belts, boots, and more. And to make room for the new items, we've discounted a number of short sleeve plaids and t-shirts. Save up to 50%. All Carhartt jeans are now $5 off. This is the last jean sale of the year, so stock up now for yourself or someone else for the upcoming upcoming holidays. Christmas will be here before you know it, so you might as well save some cash now on what you know you'll need. All this month, we are including a buy one, get one half-price sale on all novelty t-shirts by Simply Southern, Girly Girl, Live Oak, and more. It's the Carhartt Crazy Sale and more. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch. On the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated since 1967.
Jeep Adventure Days and Ram Power Days are rocking at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on Covington Pike. And guess who's got #1 ranked brand in initial quality and driver appeal among mass market brands? We Gossett! 2020 Jeep Cherokee Latitude IIHS top safety pick. $21,560 or $275 a month. Or get muscle with 2020 Dodge Challenger XST with best in-class cargo volume. $24,348 or $314 a month. Plus get rammed up in a 2020 Ram 1500 Classic Crew Cab 4x2 week Gossett at $388 a month. Drive past the rest. Come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat 1901 Covington Pike. Online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
Ranked by J.D. Power's IQS and appeal studies, all 75 months at 4.11 APR, 3,500 down, must finance through Chrysler Cherokee, LD 643160, MSRP 28,190, Challenger LHS 214,740, MSRP 31,180, Ram LG 293,29, MSRP 37,855, includes all rebates and incentives. Key of 695 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 11/1/2020 with approved credit dealer stock only.
We're just weeks away from a ridiculously frightening presidential election. Who the hell knows what's going to happen? The stock market, our economy, the future of the nation hanging in the balance, all while we battle coronavirus. You might not be able to control world events. You can control how you prep for the future. I'm here to tell you about a new product that can make your life better each and every day. It's one that could theoretically save your life. It's a Harvest Right home freeze dryer. Harvest Right's freeze dryer lets you preserve your favorite foods in the comfort and convenience of your own home. With this affordable home appliance, you can easily create your own emergency food supply. Plus, you can freeze dry camping meals, pet food, healthy snacks, and so much more. It's a healthier, more cost-effective solution for you and your family. Enjoy the freedom, flexibility, and peace of mind that comes with owning your very own home freeze dryer today. Try out the Harvest Right home freeze dryer. I think that you're going to enjoy it. In fact, I know you're going to enjoy it. I have one, and it allows you to really freeze dry all of your favorite cooking. So you have meals that you've already prepared, and they taste great when you unfreeze them. Go check it out, a Harvest Right home freeze dryer. Learn more at harvestright.com. Again, that's harvestright.com. Harvest, RIGHT.com.
In today's world, a lot is going on, but one thing is always true. You need to take care of yourself. The skin clinics can help. Age, diet, genetics, and current events can conspire to make you look and feel much older than you are. It doesn't have to be that way. Call the skin clinics and let their expertly trained nurses, estheticians, and staff choose the treatment that best suits you and your pocket. There's so much you can do. Consider skin resurfacing and rejuvenation, lash extensions and specialty brows, injectables, medical-grade chemical peels, laser hair reduction, waxing, facials, makeup applications, and even services just for men. The Skin Clinics has it all in a caring, safe environment, always observing current social distancing guidelines. Go to theskinclinic.com to find out more and call today for your appointment at 901-345-SKIN. That's 901-345-SKIN. Taking care of yourself is good for you and your loved ones. Come to the Skin Clinics, 1300 Wolf Park Drive in Germantown.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by Action247.com. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
This hour's program is brought to you by Action247.com. I'm actually on the website right now looking at the contest, their daily Monday Night Football contest here. Again, it's free to play, and you could win real, cold, hard cash. All you can do is go in, you make some picks, answer some questions about tonight's game, and if you are the winner, then you're going to get some cash. But it's very easy. They get daily games, weekly games, NFL, college football, soccer, UFC. They got all kinds of different things that you can play on there, and it's absolutely free. And again, here should be in the next week, sports betting completely legal in Tennessee, and you can get signed up ready to go at Action. The number's 247. It's Action247.com. It's a website from Tennesseans for Tennesseans. Get the action you want at Action247.com.
I've been playing those games. A lot of things that you just talked about on their website. There's football for college and NFL, and sometimes they combine the two. And there's one where it's like Tennessee teams. You know the one I'm talking about? And I keep hitting 7 out of 8. I get 7 right, and I miss one game. I forget which one it was. It was the I think was it the Alabama over-under against Tennessee? One of those games that I missed. But it's fun just to do it right now. And as you said, it doesn't cost you 1 red cent, and you can win real money. All right, just got word from our good buddy Barrett Sallee. He's got some personal things that he has to take care of today, so he won't be joining us at 11:05, but that's more time to discuss college football with you. We're going to open up the lines to you in our next hour at 360-8255. First Bank phone lines, First Bank text line at 67129. Then we'll dive into the NFL. Boy, there were a lot of games that went down to the wire and then some. We'll talk about the World Series, which has been terrific. A lot of things on the plate today. I wanted to bring this up. I just saw this tweet. A.J. Brown, former Ole Miss Rebel wide receiver who had another big game for the Titans despite the loss to Pittsburgh, has now joined Randy Moss and DK Metcalf, who was his teammate at Ole Miss, as the only NFL players in the last 25 years to have 1,350 receiving yards, 12 touchdowns, and an average of 17-plus yards receiving in their first 21 games of their NFL career. Brown did it in 20 games with 1,383 yards, 12 touchdowns, and an average of 18 yards per reception. Those receivers, that tandem together at Ole Miss, my gosh. You think they should have won a lot more games with those two guys.
That's what's sad is you had the talent that was on that team, especially on the offensive side of the ball, was ridiculous.
Was Knox the tight end at that time as well of the Buffalo Bills?
Dawson Knox, I don't think Dawson Knox ever caught a touchdown pass in college, which is criminal. Now they use the tight end. The Oboa's been going crazy, but when Knox was there, they didn't use the tight end.
Yeah, that is mind-boggling to have all that talent on that one team together. And those guys obviously have been really producing in the NFL. And then yesterday, and again, we'll get to the NFL.
Jordan Wilkins, who's in the NFL in the backfield.
That's right. He's with the Indianapolis Colts. But and we'll dive into this when we get into our NFL segment later on. But the DK Metcalf play yesterday in the Seattle game last night against Arizona, where Russell Wilson threw the pick, and Budda Baker is taking it the other way for a pick six, and DK Metcalf runs him down with world-class speed. It's not just the athleticism and the speed, it's the effort. And that is one, Lane Kiffin said, I'm showing this to my team. I've already seen coaches, high school coaches, tweet out, we're going to show this to our players. That is what you call maximum effort, never giving up. And he saved them a few points. They ended up kicking a field goal.
No, they didn't. They went on a fourth down. Didn't get any. They got no points.
Oh, they got no points. They got no points. Okay.
They saved them 7 points because of the. No, it was. That's why I put it as my background today. It's an amazing play. There are very few guys, I think, that even make that effort. Make that
right. That's what I tweeted
they're
out
starting
yesterday.
10 yards behind. I'm not going to, what's the purpose? It's easy to just not go. So to put in the effort and then, yes, then after putting in the effort to actually have the speed that he has at his size, it was unbelievable. I mean, it's an incredible play.
And he was passed up. And he was passed up by some NFL scouts because of what, his shuttle time? Is that what it was? His shuttle?
3-cone.
3-cone.
Yeah.
His 3-cone. Oh my gosh, those scouts shouldn't have jobs today.
He is a freak of nature with his size and speed combination.
On a funny note, how freaked out do you think Budda Baker was looking over his shoulder, seeing DK chasing him down?
Because when he makes that interception, he thinks he's gone. He's like, there's no, you're not thinking anybody's going to possibly catch you. And Metcalf started about 10 yards back and caught it. It's not like Budda Baker. It wasn't like this was a defensive lineman who made the interception.
Right.
Like, this is a defensive back who's got
field.
some speed, and to be able to catch him is just incredible.
All right. Bama, Tennessee, the rest of the SEC, and then the national landscape, including what happened on Saturday in the Big Ten. And what is the latest with this young quarterback at Wisconsin who was terrific, nearly perfect on Friday, Graham Mertz, but tested positive for COVID-19. We'll give you the latest as far as that's concerned. We'll talk NFL. We invite you to be a part of the program at 360-8255 First Bank phone lines, or just text in on the First Bank text line at 67129. We got our 5 favorite songs topic today, move, moved, or moving. We'll do that at 12:05, so plenty of time to send in your lists. This is Sports 56 Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 98.5 FM.
With Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner, Kevin Harlan here from Westwood One with a preview of Monday Night Football, sponsored by Prilosec OTC. Kurt, a great matchup coming up from Los Angeles. Aaron Donald and the Rams taking on the red-hot 5-1 Chicago Bears.
Well, you're right, Kevin. We're going to talk a lot about Aaron Donald and Nick Foles, but I really think the storyline in this game is going to be this Rams offense that's been playing really well outside of the game last week against San Francisco, but their run play action game against this unbelievable Chicago Bears defense, starting with Khalil Mack and then that aggressive secondary on the back end. Going to be a great matchup.
It should be a good one. The Chicago Bears against the Los Angeles Rams on Monday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long, right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Hey, frequent heartburn may keep you from running your A game, but it doesn't have to anymore. Join the Prilosec OTC 2-week challenge. Just go to prilosecotc.com. You'll get $3 off to get you started, plus 14 days of tips, tricks, and reminders. Just 2 weeks, zero heartburn. Go to prilosecotc.com and sign up today. Zero heartburn is possible with Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
It's time for an upgrade. Beneath your feet, with beautiful, durable new carpet from the Home Depot. And right now, free installation. Choose from a wide selection of styles. Order samples. Schedule a measure and installation, all online. It's never been easier to have carpet you love, right where you live. For new carpet and free installation, only from the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Free installation on carpet $4.99 or more and 99 cents or more per square foot. U.S. only.
Good news. Southland Casino is now back open. That's right. The most spacious casino floor in the Mid-South is ready to welcome you back to the action with live blackjack, roulette, craps, and all your favorite slots. The action kicks off every day at 9 a.m. and rolls all the way till 5 o'clock the next morning. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead and make the short drive to Southland. We're ready for you. Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Hey, everybody. I'm out here at Olive Branch looking at all these new Silverados at All Star Chevrolet. And guess what? It's Trucktober. And nobody has more new Silverado trucks than right here at All Star Chevrolet. And I'm seeing them right now. Look at this. You can get the Trucktober thousands in cash off price. Up to $5,000 in cash back. Holidays are coming. In fact, they're already here. All Star Chevy has all these new 2020 Chevy SUVs and trucks with cash back deals in the thousands. New 3-row Traverse, new Equinox, Impala, or Malibu all come with thousands in Chevy cash back for you. Remember, it's not Mount Moriah, not Covington Pike, not Collierville or South Haven. It's got to be Olive Branch, people. And the certified pre-owned lot is full. Impalas, Malibus, Tahoes, and Suburbans. And everyone at All Star Chevy has one job, just one job, to make sure you have more fun, get the best deal, and in record time. So find new roads to All Star Chevy on Kraft Goodman Road or online at allstarautogroup.com. Beat any dealer's ad price any day at All Star Chevrolet. Best financing for everyone.
You hear the phrase all day, every day. In these uncertain times this, in these uncertain times that. Well, in these uncertain times, one thing I know for certain, you want you some Central Barbecue. Central Barbecue is open for you to dine in or carry out, online orders and curbside pickup. And another thing you can be certain about is this. We are doing everything in our power to keep you and our staff safe. You can be sure that everyone working at any Central Barbecue is following every safety protocol there is, and they'll encourage you to do the same. Come on in and get some Central Barbecue. And yes, your face covering is probably going to end up with some sauce on it. A small price to pay for safety.
Hi, this is Rob Brown. Join us every Saturday morning on Sports 56 WHBQ from 8 to 10 a.m. and 96.1 FM and the new FM 98.5. We'll be covering the Memphis Tigers, the SEC, college football, college basketball, college baseball. We'll look into recruiting. We'll have guests from around the country with the latest news, the most knowledgeable people out there, the coaches, the players, the people who play the games. Don't forget to join us on the sidelines. Sports 56, 96.1, and the new FM 98.5.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, WPGFLP Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by Window Genie. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Living on a lighted stage approaches the unreal.
Welcome back, everybody. 11:03 the time on this Monday, October 26th, 2020, Hour 2 of the Sports 56 Middays program. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Gabe Kuhn. Once again, as I mentioned at the end of Hour 1, we will not have Barrett Sallee today. He'll rejoin us next Monday. He's with us every week during the college football season, but he had something come up. So plenty of time to continue the conversation or continue to converse on this college football from this past weekend with you. If you'd like to participate, you can text in First Bank text line with your comments or your questions, concerns, 67129, or hit us up via the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255. Then we'll get into the NFL. We'll talk World Series as well. Our 5 favorite songs will come your way at 12:05 with the topic today, the word move or moved or moving in the title of your song. You can text in on the First Bank text line at 67129. Or if you're watching us live, you can message us with those lists at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram. We are in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. And the second hour of the program is brought to you each and every day by the Window Genie, a trusted name in window cleaning, but they do so much more. Give my friend Kate Robertson a call and ask for the Sports 56 special, 901-424-4100. You're going to get 15% off your window cleaning. That's interior and exterior window cleaning with their streak-free guarantee, or 15% off power washing. And don't forget about the early specials on holiday lighting. They will customize your lighting, install it, maintain it, and store it away, all for one low price. And if you order by November 1st, you're going to get 15% off because you heard it here on Sports 56 Middays. That's the Window Genie and Kate Robertson. Once again, 901-424-4100.
I just saw Chris Vanini tweet about this, and I didn't even realize this was the case. But Ole Miss now, this year, every team they have played has scored their season high in points against Ole Miss.
I saw that. Yeah. Well, it's a situation where they are struggling on that side. Memphis is struggling on that side. Memphis opponents are putting up some unbelievable numbers against the secondary of Memphis, and teams going up against Ole Miss are putting up their best offensive numbers. It is a time where you have to outscore your opponent.
They're giving up 44.6 points per game.
And have been in all the games. I mean, Arkansas beat them pretty good because Matt Corral threw 6 picks, but they've been able to hang in all these games.
The glaring one, the weird part is like maybe their worst performance, although it's hard to, because Alabama, at least it's Alabama, and Florida is Florida. But in considering what they've done by comparison, maybe the worst defensive performance is the game they won against Kentucky. Because giving up 41 points to Kentucky is bad. Because Kentucky is not a good offensive team.
No, we were talking, Gabe and I, during the break, and I picked Missouri because I think Eli Drinkwitz is a really good coach. And they did just enough offensively. I do like their big, young quarterback, but they ran the ball, and Kentucky's anemic offensively. That's why I picked Mizzou, 20-10. And you would think Mark Stoops may have to make that move from Terry Wilson to Joey Gatewood. And late in the game, Gatewood came in and didn't do much. He was 1 for 4 for 12 yards. Gatewood, the Auburn transfer, but they're just not moving the ball. They're not producing. Wilson's a guy who missed all of last year, but 10 points isn't cutting it in this day and age in college football. Missouri scored just enough with 20 to win that game.
They had the ball for less than 16 minutes of that game. Time of possession was 43-10 to 15-50. Like, I don't understand. Like, Wilson only threw 9 passes. Like, how about throwing the ball once in a while?
You would think, even though he's struggled when he has thrown the ball this year.
Mizzou running 92 plays to Kentucky's 36 is probably the most staggering thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's 2 games for Kentucky that they have not gotten over 200 yards.
Right.
In Mississippi State, and it's against Mississippi State and Missouri. I mean, we're not the Mississippi State's defense is pretty good. Missouri's defense is okay, whatever. But this isn't like they're playing the best defenses in the world and can't get 200 yards.
Right. Yet Kentucky's defense kept them in the game. They only gave up 20 points, so they have to do something offensively. Alabama, as expected, steamrolled Tennessee 48-17, and the Vols have now dropped 3 in a row, losing to Georgia, Kentucky, and to Alabama. Najee Harris had 3 rushing touchdowns for Alabama. We talked about this earlier. Jalen Waddle out for the year, a big loss for Alabama, and Mac Jones was good once again. But for Tennessee, it was Jarrett Garantano. I expected him to be the starter, although earlier in the week Jeremy Pruitt had said he's not sure who he's going to start. I don't know. I mean, they're 2-3 now. They played a couple of really good teams in these during this losing streak, but they seem like they're reverting back a little bit. What do you think about the Vols and moving forward?
Well, again, if you're just not going to get good quarterback play, it's going to be hard to win. I mean, that's you have to have good quarterback play, and he's just not good enough to win games. So everything else, they have to basically be perfect in every other area. And I mean, there's no way you're going to beat Alabama. Like, there's no way you could possibly keep up with him when your offense isn't good because your quarterback isn't good enough. I mean,
right.
it's just a simple thing. Like until they actually get a quarterback in who can do something and actually go out and maybe win a game, they're going to struggle.
He threw a couple of good long balls, but he's so infrequent in doing so. And that, I still believe, showcased a little bit that Alabama has some issues in the secondary. And that's why I don't think they're the best team out there. I do believe Clemson is a better, well-rounded team. But I wouldn't say it's a deficiency for Alabama. I would just say that that's the weakest spot of all their positions. So Tennessee has a long way to go. Alabama cruises. They get the victory, and they get the victory convincingly.
And for the people that are will try to be critical of Nick Saban because what he said about Jalen Waddle, about how you shouldn't bring that kick out of the end zone and all that stuff. Shut up. Like, to try to act like Nick Saban doesn't care about his players. Like, he's talked about the fact that he was, how much it hurt him and everything else. But
of course.
He was, I mean, that's also Nick, but Nick Saban is also always going to make Nick Saban the football coach.
Right.
So he's always going to throw in the fact that we shouldn't be bringing that kick out of the end zone. Like that's just a part of his coaching stuff. Like he's always going to have the football coach in him, but to act like that like some way means he doesn't care about his players is ridiculous.
LSU rolls South Carolina 52-24. Brennan couldn't go, so TJ Finley gets the start at quarterback. Very efficient, 17-21, 265, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. South Carolina was coming off the win. LSU, did they find something? They're going to play Auburn this week. We know Auburn will figure out a way to win and get lucky, but has LSU figured out something after their woes up until this point?
I mean, I don't know. I think they played South Carolina, who's not very good offensively, and so that helped their defense. I don't know that it's anything necessarily more than that. I mean, their defense has been horrendous, and I don't know. And obviously, Auburn's not a great offense either, but I don't know. As far as the quarterback position goes, it's not like Finley was great, but he was efficient. But he was good and efficient. So, do they want to maybe make a change there? I don't know. That'll be. I'm not sure how Ed will handle that. And I don't know what the situation is health-wise. If what's his name, Brennan's going to be back this week or not. I haven't seen anything as far as whether they expect him to be back this week.
LSU is a 2-point favorite. The early line 2-point favorite, and I'll be curious to see if that line changes, but at Jordan-Hare, a 2-point favorite this Saturday.
How about the former Whitehaven star, Kavian Mullins, though?
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty good average. 2 catches for 101 yards.
There are talented players from this area all over the landscape of college football. All over the place. Every time you turn around, there's somebody that played at Memphis or played prep football in Memphis, or University of Memphis guys playing in the NFL, which have made an impact every week of the season. Just it's nice to see.
The crazy thing about that for Mullins, 2 catches, so you're averaging 50 yards a catch, but no touchdowns.
Right.
You would think that if you're averaging 50 yards a catch, like at least one of those would have been a long touchdown, but neither one of them went for touchdowns.
The Big Ten and the Mountain West got their seasons started, and there's a lot of things to talk about. First of all, the situation with Wisconsin. They played Friday night, and they rolled Illinois 45-7. And their freshman quarterback, Graham Mertz, was near perfect. 20 of 21, 248 yards, 5 touchdowns. It doesn't get much better than that. And then he tests positive for COVID-19. One of those daily tests. I don't know if this was yesterday or the day before. He tests positive. So, no, it couldn't have been the day before because that was the game. So it was yesterday.
Well, no, the game was Friday. But
that's right. It might have been Saturday.
I don't know when they did the test.
That's right. So he tests positive on those daily tests. Now he's taken another test, and the results are going to be in sometime today. We haven't heard those results yet. We haven't read anything about those results. But if he is positive with this other test, he's gone for 3 weeks with the Big Ten mandate. You're talking about a guy who was incredible in his first game on Friday.
Yeah, it's. I would assume. I guess they'll know today whether they confirm that with the other form of testing. Yeah, if that's the case, he is done for 3 weeks, regardless of. He could test negative every day from here on out, but he still has to be out for 3 weeks according to their protocols, which that'd be rough for Wisconsin.
Ohio State,
because the Cone guy is out with he had surgery.
Right.
I don't even know who their quarterback would be at that point.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But him and Justin Fields, that's pretty impressive.
Yep.
Both going 20 of 21.
Yep. Just about to get to that. Ohio State rolling Nebraska 52-17. Justin Fields, as you said, 20 of 21, 276, 2 touchdowns. Ohio State, mid-season form. It literally is mid-season in a normal year, but for them, of course, it's their first game. They look tremendous.
Yeah, boy, he has slimmed down. He's lost some weight. He looks, boy, he made some throws in that game that, like that, the one touchdown, I think it was in the first half. I mean, he threw the ball basically 50 yards in the air on a line and right in stride. Like the receiver literally just kept running. All you do is put your arms out and it's there. Like he makes some throws that are just really, really impressive, man. He is something. And the way he can run the ball too, boy, I think Trevor Lawrence will end up being a very good NFL quarterback, but I think Justin Fields could be especially in the new way kind of the NFL is going. I think Justin Fields has a chance to be special.
Well, when I look at what Kyler Murray has done, and he's not as short as Kyler Murray, and I was completely wrong about Murray. I mean, I've been on Justin Fields from the get-go. I think he's terrific. So, yes, now the question is, can he make a run in the limited games they play at Trevor to be the number 1 overall pick? I think it'll still be Lawrence, but Fields, that is a great debut for this year. I mean, that is fantastic. Then you had Michigan, destroyed Minnesota. Got to call out our good buddy John Harden because he was all over Minnesota, and I agreed with him. I said, you too, Gabe. Yeah, I thought he does a great job. I think John does in analyzing things. Absolutely. I like Minnesota. I really like Minnesota. They weren't even a factor in that game. Michigan looked so good.
Joe Milton, he's going to be interesting to watch this year. His ability to run the ball actually made that offense, I think, way more dynamic than we've seen in the past behind Shea Patterson and Wilton Spate and all those other quarterbacks.
I am not about to go to the suggestion that Michigan will beat Ohio State because they never do. But maybe we give Jim Harbaugh whether he deserves it or not, the benefit of the doubt this year that it is a more competitive Michigan team. Again, it's only one game.
Yeah, let's not go crazy here.
But they look really good. I watched a good hunk of that game. And then there was the crazy game. Then there was the crazy game between Penn State and Indiana with the Hoosiers winning 36-35. And where do you start with this one, Eli?
Well, I mean, the final play to me is one of the more interesting things, because I bet I've watched that thing 50 times, and I still don't know whether he got in or not.
He didn't get in. I agree with you 100%. I saw what you tweeted out. I tweeted it out as well. The ball hit the white of the out of bounds before it hit the pylon, and I think it even bounced
I don't
into
know
the
how
pylon.
you can say that with certainty.
Oh,
see, even if I do think the ball hit the ground before it hit the pylon, but I'm not sure the point of the football wasn't already to the line.
It has to touch the white. That's all it has to do.
If you just said like, do you believe he got in? I would say I don't think he did, but there's also no way that you could overturn that call. I think you had to, on replay, just leave it as the call on the field because there's no way you could with certainty say he didn't get in.
Yeah, I agree, right, Gabe? Because if they had called it the other way, I think the same thing.
It stands.
You can't revert. Yeah,
there's just no way.
The one thing that they were trying to make, the reason it stood and the reason it wasn't reversed, because I looked at it and you know, if you pause it at that certain point where it's in that corner and it clearly touches the out of bounds, you would think, okay, that's not a touchdown. But the angle was such that you couldn't tell if the tip of the football got to the line or not. And it certainly could have, but that's why it stood. It's just interesting also to see a top 10 team go down with a play that stands on the field. Stands is called.
But what about
the effort too? By the way, to get that ball even to close to the goal line was incredible. That was. I mean, that was unbelievable that he even, because when that was happening, I was like, "There's no way he's getting that." Dude had an angle on him. Like I was like, and he, I mean, just sold out to get this. I kind of felt good for him to be rewarded for just the effort that he put in to try and get the ball to the goal line.
Absolutely. I feel great for Indiana, for Sean McKeel. That's his alma mater. But the effort by that quarterback was tough. And then how about Tom Allen going for it? What do we have to lose? Well, it's the first game of the year. Let's beat a top 25 team. And then the celebration in the locker room. I mean, you're so happy for Tom Allen and that team to do what they did.
What's crazy to me is, and I tweeted about, I can't remember the last time I saw the whole let the other team score so we can get the ball back.
I never see that until this past weekend.
And have it work. Like, I don't remember the last time I saw it work. Normally, if they do score, like you get the ball back and you don't do anything about it, you still lose the game. It worked twice this weekend.
Right.
Because it worked for the Detroit Lions, too. Like, I cannot remember the last time I saw it work. And here it works for both Indiana and for the Detroit Lions in one weekend, back-to-back days.
Well, the other rule of thumb, and then going to that NFL game, was I know Todd Gurley was upset he didn't want to go in. But how about if you don't go in, you run another play, you fumble the exchange, or the field goal's blocked? Don't you want to still score, make sure you get the lead? And don't take anything for granted? Could you imagine if he didn't go in the end zone and then they messed up? We wouldn't hear the end of it. So you very, very rarely see that.
When you're down there, your chances of missing a field goal or something like that are extremely slim.
I know. I understand that. But that's why you don't see that. There's other situations. There have been many situations where a player could have held out from going in, held back, but they don't. They normally go in. But it is interesting that this weekend you saw it both in college and you saw it in the NFL.
The best was the picture that somebody had of Gurley laying on the goal line and all of the defensive guys singling touchdown.
Yes.
It's just so funny that no offensive guy is signaling touchdown. It's all defensive guys. Like, he scored. Yes, he absolutely scored. And they
let him score.
And the funny thing with the Indiana Penn State one, you could see the Penn State guy you could just see him, the reaction of oh, I shouldn't have scored.
Yes.
Like, he had that moment of like, oh, no, dang it, that was dumb, but it's too late. Like, I'm already in the end zone.
They always review scoring plays. For me, I thought for a second that maybe he didn't score the touchdown, but then I saw the replay going, nah, he did. It wasn't by much, but he did. All right, a couple of more notes on college football, and then we'll take a timeout, and then we'll come back. We'll talk NFL. The Middle Tennessee State Rice game, and we won't normally talk about these teams, but because of how it ended in double overtime. Now, Rice was playing for the first time this year, and Middle Tennessee State was playing for the 7th time this year. But it came down to a field goal, and there was a quadruple doink by the kicker for Rice. I've seen a double doink, a regular doink. I don't think I've ever seen a triple or a quadruple doink.
Well, I don't even know how it's possible, honestly. Like,
it defies the laws of gravity and physics?
It does. I mean, you've got an oblong-shaped ball that hits a round post and stays on the same plane for 3 other bounces. I think that should not happen in physics. Like, that ball has to go forward or backward off one of those bounds. Like, it just doesn't. How a ball could hit one upright, come down and hit that crossbar, and still not go either forward or backward. Still somehow stay on that same plane to go hit another round object and still stay on the same plane, still doesn't go forward or backward, and come down and hit it again. I'm telling you, that is, by physics, virtually impossible to do. You could set out to do that and try that, and you could try 1,000,000 kicks, and it's never going to happen. Like, right. I cannot comprehend how that ball could possibly hit that 4 times.
A couple of other games. Oklahoma State, hard-fought win against Iowa State. They remain undefeated on the season. BYU, Liberty, and Coastal Carolina all remain unbeaten. They all won their games. Army goes to 6-1, and they accept an Independence Bowl bid. So the first bowl bid is handed out. The Army Black Knights will be headed to Shreveport, assuming that game will take place. We had the games late Friday that were canceled. The Holiday Bowl is off. I think the Fenway Bowl is going to be off. And there's talk about the bowls in Los Angeles and Myrtle Beach that were scheduled for this year for the first time. Inaugural season, inaugural bowls will not take place. But congratulations to Army accepting a bid to the Independence Bowl.
Somebody texted in asking how many votes Liberty got in the poll this week. What did Liberty get? I don't even.
Gabe, can you look that up? I assume they're looking at they care about the AP poll or the coaches poll. I mean, the AP poll, I would think. See what Liberty got. Liberty,
85, right there behind Memphis.
Right behind Memphis in the AP. So there'd be 27. Yeah, we had Hugh Freeze on last week, the head coach of the Flames, and they have a game against. Who do they play that's really good coming up? It may not be this week. They have a challenging game. So I mean, right now. They're beating up on teams. They're playing really well. The schedule hasn't been formidable. But they have somebody. Is it Virginia Tech?
I think Virginia Tech.
Yeah, I think it's Virginia Tech.
Yeah, it's not this week. It's the next week.
And, of course, Virginia Tech lost to Wake Forest. That was a dud of a game.
They still have Virginia Tech, NC State, and they play Coastal Carolina.
They run that table? Not that they'll be in the playoff, but they'll be way up there. They'll be they're another independent team. So, again, the group of 5 with the New Year's 6 representative does not include the independents, correct?
Correct, because it's a conference champion.
Yeah, so you don't have BYU, and you won't consider Coastal Carolina as well. All right, Tennessee sports betting fans, it's almost here. FanDuel Sportsbook is giving you an exclusive offer to get started right now. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook is giving users $50 in free bets just for signing up. You heard that right. They're giving you $50 in free site credit to register and verify early. There is no deposit required. FanDuel is America's #1 sports betting site for a reason. They've got odds on all the biggest sports, including tonight's Monday night game between the Bears and the Rams. They have a simple, intuitive app that makes it easy to find the bet you're looking for, then you lock it in. And unlike other sports books, once you win, FanDuel gets you your cash in as little as 24 hours. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. But right now, the right thing for you to do is download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Check out their fantastic app for yourself. Just be sure to sign up and register using promo code GASMAN so they know we sent you. When you verify your account, you'll receive $50 in site credit when FanDuel Sportsbook is live. That's promo code GASMAN to get $50 in site credit when FanDuel Sportsbook is live. And we are only days away from that happening. Must be 21 or older, present in Tennessee. Site credit is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Terms apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. For problem gambling support, call 1-800-889-9789.
Greg, I can't help but notice you have not mentioned anything about your Maryland Terrapins.
Didn't I do enough mentioning on Twitter?
I just wondered. I am
so.
What did they do this weekend? Did they play?
Oh, they played. Well, did they really play? They got demolished. Look. You know, Eli, from the get-go, I said this was a horrible hire of Mike Locksley. Locksley is going to be able to get a few recruits in, okay, because he's a likable guy. He is a horrible coach, a horrible, horrible head coach. He is now 6-41 as a head coach. They had the worst opening loss they've had ever. You have to go back to the 1800s.
Yeah, but certainly if they got killed, it was by like Ohio State, right? They must have played somebody really good if they got killed.
Exactly. Somebody really powerful, and that would be Northwestern, for goodness sakes. So Northwestern beats them on the football field and in the classroom.
No. Northwestern and Rutgers both getting wins, big wins in the same weekend.
Yeah, I didn't even mention Rutgers win. Snaps a 21-game losing streak
Maybe
in the Big
Greg Schiano just is the genius of Rutgers.
You probably say that tongue-in-cheek. He probably is. You know what he is? He's a good coach.
He's their Bill Snyder. He's the guy who can win there that nobody else can.
And Randy Edsall at Connecticut. Well, we'll see if that happens next year. But it's an embarrassment. Maryland is an absolute embarrassment. They're going to lose to Rutgers. They're going to probably go winless. Again, they hired a nice guy, seemingly nice guy. His track record was awful. And just because he coached under Nick Saban doesn't mean this guy's going to be a really good head coach. He had already proven that he will not be at New Mexico State. I know it's tough to win at New Mexico State, but he just doesn't have it. If I could tell you that from day one, you would think the committee that hired him would know that as well. I know they wanted to go a complete opposite way from DJ Durkin, who was successful on the field but obviously was not off the field. But this was a horrible hire. Everybody knew it. I don't know how long it'll last. All right, when we come back, the NFL. We'll dive into what happened yesterday. We'll preview the Monday night game. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 98.5 FM.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
Hey, Tennessee, sports betting is almost here, and FanDuel Sportsbook is giving you an exclusive offer to get started. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook is giving users $50 in free bets just for signing up. You heard that right. They're giving you $50 in free site credit to register and verify early. No deposit required. FanDuel is America's #1 sports betting site for a reason. They've got odds on all the biggest sports in a simple, intuitive app that makes it easy to find the bet you're looking for, then lock it in. And unlike other sportsbooks, once you win, FanDuel gets you your cash in as little as 24 hours. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. But right now, the right thing for you to do is download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and check out their fantastic app for yourself. Just be sure to sign up and register using promo code BIGHEAD. That's me, Peter, with the big head, so they know I sent you. Use promo code BIGHEAD, and when you verify your account, you'll receive $50 in site credit when FanDuel Sportsbook is live. That's promo code BIGHEAD to get $50 in site credit when FanDuel Sportsbook is live. 21 and older and present in Tennessee. Site credit is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Terms apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. Gambling problem? Call Redline 1-800-889-9789.
It's back. The Carhartt Crazy Sale at Frontier Western Store in Olive Branch. Visit Frontier this month for huge markdowns on clearance Carhartt items. The latest fall line just launched, and Frontier is fully stocked. We've got jeans, shirts, bib overalls, jackets, coats, gloves, belts, boots, and more. And to make room for the new items, we've discounted a number of short sleeve plaids and t-shirts. Save up to 50%. All Carhartt jeans are now $5 off. This is the last jean sale of the year, so stock up now for yourself or someone else for the upcoming holidays. Christmas will be here before you know it, so you might as well save some cash now on what you know you'll need. All this month, we are including a buy one, get one half price sale on all novelty t-shirts by Simply Southern, Girly Girl, Live Oak, and more. It's the Carhartt Crazy Sale and more. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch. On the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated since 1967.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
There's an underdog story happening in America. In the moment they have the least, small businesses are giving the most. Well, Small Unites is making it simple for you to support their comeback. Find out how you can donate, shop, and share today at smallunites.org. Proudly sponsored by Capital One.
Family Leisure's done it again. We're talking about the world's biggest spa sale. Up to 30% off on spas and swim spas. Choose from hundreds of different spas from multiple manufacturers. There is special financing available, and if you are in the market, special pricing now as summer starts to dwindle on chemicals and accessories. Always professional delivery available. The spas are going crazy at Family Leisure, I-40 and Whidden Road.
Buy your next car or truck at Streamline Auto Smart. Your next smart decision. All credit welcome. Drive off in your new, low-mileage, pre-owned car or truck. From low-end cars to the most luxurious sports car. Ask about the 48-hour vehicle locator. Let Streamline Auto Smart do the looking for you. Close your deal within 1 hour. No waiting. It's quick and easy at Streamline Auto Smart. Your next smart decision. 2558 Mount Moriah. Call Streamline Auto Smart. 901-235-8845. Your next smart decision.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by Window Genie. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Do you remember when it was September?
By the way, you guys know who the Maryland quarterback is?
They have a quarterback?
Barely.
I assume they were playing without one.
Tua's little brother.
Oh, did he start for him?
Yes. And this week they have Minnesota, who are all peeved off from after getting beaten up by Michigan. P.J. Fleck is going to row the boat right down Route 1 in College Park and blast the Terps. So anyway, Tua's little brother, yeah, he's the quarterback for Maryland.
By the way, on the end of that Penn State-Indiana game, not only, okay, so they scored the touchdown when they shouldn't have, all that stuff.
Right.
But the final drive after that, when they still had a chance to win the game with the field goal, I don't understand what James Franklin was doing. Like, why did they settle for the 57-yarder rather than running another play and trying to get more yardage? Like, they had time to get more yardage, spike the ball, and then still be able to get the field goal. Like, 57 yards, like, that's probably not going to happen with a college kicker. Now, he came very close and only needed about 2 more yards, but I don't understand why they didn't try and get more yardage for the guy.
Yeah, it was a pretty good
boot. The clock management was terrible by Penn State in that game. It was a disaster.
No faith in the quarterback? I don't know. You should run another play. You should try to be able to get a closer shot and a more, a better chance. I mean, 57 yards is a low percentage you're going to make that field goal.
Also, it's interesting, too, because they got the ball at, the 40 Indiana after that missed field goal? And they had 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And then he knees on it. And I was thinking, okay, why don't you just run one more play? And then he goes for 2 after the – I'm like, so you play that conservative and then you go for the win and OT. I thought that was interesting by Tom Allen.
It was, and on the flip side, it wasn't one of James Franklin's best moments. And now,
James Franklin is not very good at clock management. I like a lot about James Franklin as a coach, but his clock management, he is not real good at clock management.
Look, I like him. I like the guy. I still like him as a coach. But you're right about that. And now, as a reward for that loss to Indiana, they get to host to Ohio State.
And the thing too on the play where the guy scores the touchdown, because the thing there. As a coach, if you are going to actually run plays, like not just kneel on it in that situation, like you're running plays, you have to make it very clear to your guys, don't score. Just go down.
Communications.
If that's what you have to make sure that they know, like what they're going to, they might let you, which they did, that just don't take it into the end zone, kneel down at the one, whatever you got to do. Do not score on a play.
Yeah, look, you can talk about every situation and scenario out there during practice and building up to game day. Once game day happens and these things all of a sudden appear, these situations, communication is lacking in a lot of different programs to be able to communicate exactly what you want to happen. And that's on the coaches to be able to do that, to make sure that the communication is there, that they know what they need to do, and that they're all on the same page.
Somebody else texted and said Tom Allen is a damn good coach. Yeah, Tom Allen's really good.
I like Tom.
I mean, what he's done at Indiana now, I mean, that's a football program that he has actually breathed a lot of life into that I didn't know if anybody could do that. But, yeah, he is a hell of a coach.
Yeah, he coaches rather with a lot of enthusiasm, and the players therefore play with a lot of enthusiasm. I like what's happening with
Somebody did say that the Maryland helmets are pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was good Maryland helmet. So we got that going for ourselves, which is nice. All right, let's move on to the National Football League. What were we going to say?
They've had a lot of ugly helmets in the past.
Yes.
So
they've had some ugly combinations.
You could be getting blown out by Northwestern in ugly helmets because they've done that in the past.
So I watched the game, of course, and I noticed that. I said, I like the combination that they have on, as far as their attire, nice helmets and all that. So, yeah, that's the best thing that came out of the day.
The funny thing, when I saw the line on that game, I was like, how in the world can you be a double-digit underdog to Northwestern? And then they go out and prove exactly how you can be a double-digit underdog to Northwestern because they're terrible.
I gave you a winner every week last year with the Terps. Those who listen to the show, if you remember that, I gave you even when they won the games, I told you when they would win. And every time they would lose and cover or not cover. I mean, it was so easy last year, and I think it's going to be easy again this year. All right, let's move on to the National Football League. And then there was one. After the Titans, of course, somebody had to lose between the Titans and the Steelers. And then after the Seahawks gave one away to Arizona, there is only one unbeaten team remaining. Mercury Morris getting ready to pull out the bubbly as the Steelers are the only unbeaten team. They beat the Titans 27-24 to improve to 6-0. The Titans fall to 5-1, although it got hairy in the end, and Gotti had a chance to tie the game with a field goal and send it to overtime, but he missed. And the Steelers come away with the win. They dominate that game throughout, but then give the Titans credit. They were able to bounce back and make it really tight in the end.
Yeah, it looked early on like that was going to be just a blowout. So certainly give the Titans credit. And, yeah, that kick from Gotti, when it left the foot, it looked good, and it just kept kind of drifting and drifting and drifting. And then just outside the right upright, and the look on his face, I think he was a little confused too because when it left his foot, I thought it was going to be like dead center.
Yeah. I mean, he's had an up-and-down tenure so far with the Titans. He's had some bad moments, like the first game he played in, which we wondered if he would survive for week 2, and then he came back with, 6 field goals or 7 field goals, whatever it was, in that next game. Had a chance, obviously, in this game. Last week, wasn't it where he had the missed field goal and the blocked extra point? So it has been a roller coaster of sorts for Gotti. And then injuries certainly taken its toll over the weekend as well. There were a lot of injuries yesterday in the NFL, and it's been a really bad. I mean, it's always tough because it's such a brutal sport. But, man, these injuries and big names. Jadeveon Clowney, left knee injury for the Titans. Not sure how bad that injury is. The Titans, again, losing 27-24 to the Steelers. Detroit and Atlanta, 23-22 Lions. They even the record at 3-3. The Falcons 1-6. Once again, the Falcons lose a fourth-quarter lead and lose the football game. Matthew Stafford to T.J. Hawkinson, last-second touchdown pass. And this is what you were alluding to earlier, the NFL game, where if Todd Gurley doesn't go in and they kill the time and then kick a field goal, Atlanta's going to come away with a victory. But it did not happen.
Yeah, it's Atlanta has an uncanny ability to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. It's it's insane. Some of the games they've lost. Like I don't even know how it's possible to lose some of the games they have lost. But
it doesn't even matter if Dan Quinn's gone. It's Raheem Morris now.
Clearly it wasn't just the coach. It's just something about him they have an ability to lose games they should just never lose whatsoever. But how about that? This is a crazy stat. So this is the second time in his career that Matthew Stafford has thrown a game-winning touchdown with 0 on the clock. There's only one other quarterback in history who has had multiple game-winning touchdowns with no time remaining in the game. And I could let you probably guess all day long, and you would never get the right answer.
Bubby Brister.
No.
Who is it?
Tim Couch.
Wow.
I don't even know how many games Tim Couch started in his career. It wasn't long that
Before
he was
got
around.
hurt and he was gone, right?
But he is the only other guy other than Matthew Stafford with multiple game-winning touchdowns with zeros on the clock.
Stafford on a great team for his career. Hall of Famer?
I mean, he's going to have massive numbers when it's all said and done.
Yeah, he still may get in. The NFL's a little bit more open to Hall of Famers as opposed to Major League Baseball. It's a little bit tougher to get into Cooperstown. But if he's on another team that's really good, I think he would have had a no-brainer Hall of Fame career. I think Matthew Stafford has been terrific despite playing for a really bad organization.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good NFL quarterback, but yeah, they're just the Lions, are the Lions. In the end, that's the thing. Like, so I have no idea how he will be viewed, because again, the numbers, I don't know where he is right now, but I mean, he's going to end up with massive numbers just because playing in this era of NFL football, when you throw it as much as you do, and obviously trailing in a lot of games in your career, so throwing a lot of passes because of that. Mm-hmm. And then he's had the receivers, obviously Calvin Johnson, one of the best ever. So he's had some guys to throw to as well.
Cleveland beat Cincinnati in a real fun game, 37-34, went back and forth, and the Baker, he did a great job leading his team down for the game-winning drive. 5-2 now for the Browns. The Bengals dropped to 1-5-1. The bad news, though, came this morning, if you haven't heard. OBJ is gone for the season. He has a torn ACL, so one of their big weapons. Mayfield hit Donovan Peoples-Jones in the final moments, 11 seconds left to win the game. Mayfield was 22 of 28, 297, 5 touchdowns and a pick. And Joe Burrow, the rookie from LSU, was sensational. 35 of 47, 406 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Just a great performance by both those quarterbacks and a fun game to watch.
Yeah, that was a very entertaining game. And, you got to give Baker credit. He got off to a rough start, but then got just red hot in the middle of that game and made the great throw for the final touchdown there with 10, 11 seconds left
11
or whatever.
Seconds, yeah.
Fantastic back shoulder throw. So that was a win that they needed badly and probably a game that he needed badly.
When we come back, the disaster that is, unfortunately, Eli's Dallas Cowboys. They hit on Andy Dalton, and there will not be a suspension. We'll discuss that. Tom Brady electrifying as Tampa Bay routs Vegas, and Seattle somehow gave one up to Arizona. Give Kyler Murray a lot of credit and the Cardinals for rallying to win that game in overtime, the Sunday night game. We will discuss all those games in just a moment. Lawn Solutions is a locally owned weed control fertilization company that serves the greater Memphis area. Brandon Holly is a terrific guy, and he has a team of professionals that can take care of your lawn today. They do it all year long. You can go online to LawnSolutionsInc.net for more information, or just call Brandon and tell him you heard it here on Middays. 901-867-5626. When I say they take care of your lawn all year long, I'm not exaggerating. They control the germination of weeds by applying pre-emergence during the winter months and the post-emergence during the summer months. So you'll see the Lawn Solutions vans driving around, the trucks driving around all year long. It's a lot easier to prevent the weeds from popping up than it is to kill them, although they can do that as well. When spring is sprung, those weeds will pop up, so they can take care of that. But if you use their services all year long, those weeds are not going to pop up during the spring. They can take care of any disease your lawn has or any insect infestation. It's Lawn Solutions, locally owned. LawnSolutionsInc.net on the web, 901-867-5626. Ask for Brandon. Tell him you heard it here on Sports 56 Middays. More NFL conversation when we return. This is Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 98.5 FM.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
36-month leases, $31.49 due at signing. 0 security deposit. Excludes ACQ fee, $10,000 per year. 20 cents excess mileage. $6.50 acquisition fee. Forte ME $275,992. MSRP $20,510. Sold L706 $3372. MSRP $21,885. K5 MG 003,199. MSRP $25,725. K900 MSRP $65,610. L60 $26,907. L60 $21,220. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF $695. Excludes tax final license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 11/1/2020. Dealer stock only. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Where can you find best mass market branded and initial quality 5 years running for Kia with J.D. Powers? We gossip and gossip Kia on Mount Moriah. Take your pick, 2021 Kia Forte or 2020 Kia Soul. $149 a month lease, 36 months. 2021 Kia K5 beats Toyota Camry with more passenger cargo headroom and legroom volume, plus a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. $189 a month lease for 36 months, all just $31.49 due at signing. Plus 2020 K900, $10,000 off MSRP. So come get happy at Gossett Kia, 2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's opponents on Man versus Train. At the crossing, we have Rick, a 175-pound frustrated man who's running late for work. And on the tracks, we have Bull, a million-pound freight train that takes a mile to stop. Let's see who comes out on top.
You can't beat a train, so don't try. Stop. Trains can't. Paid for by NHTSA.
Case IH is a proud supporter of the Mississippi Farm Bureau, and thanks to a membership benefits partnership, Mississippi Farm Bureau members receive a discount of up to $500 on every qualifying Case IH tractor and piece of equipment you purchase. This discount may be used with other promotions, rebates, or offers. So join Mid-South Ag Equipment and the Mississippi Farm Bureau and pocket up to $500 in savings. Call Mid-South Ag at 662-890-3141 to get your discount today.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt? Get ready for a toll-free hotline. Take advantage of new IRS tax forgiveness programs. Call Civic Tax Relief for free information now. 800-841-0908. 800-841-0908.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by Window Genie. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
All right, so a couple of reports this morning. The first one from Adam Schefter. The John Bostic will not be suspended for the hit on Andy Dalton that knocked him out, sent him out on a stretcher. He will probably be fined, likely be fined. The Cowboys were awful. The Redskins win 25-3. Former Tiger Antonio Gibson, 20 carries, 128 yards, and a touchdown. Good for Gibson, but the Cowboys, Eli Savoy, what the hell's going on?
They're terrible. They're brutal. They don't appear to care a whole lot. This thing I think is headed for possibly just an epic implosion. Where it's, I mean, we've already seen, we had the anonymous things about the coaching staff already.
Right.
this thing could just go to a point like it where it is just an unbelievable disaster by the end of the season.
Is McCarthy going to last 1 year?
I think he will last 1 year. I'm not sure he'll last after a year. This team just clearly, and I don't know if if it's the Dak injury or what, but there's not even any pride. Like, they don't care. They're out there just going through the motions. There's nothing whatsoever that indicates anybody in this team really cares at this point.
Do you think they deserve the criticism for not going after Bostic, or not at least showing that they were concerned over Andy Dalton's injury, that they just kind of let it go?
I mean, I get the point. Certainly, you'd like to say, like, somebody would have the quarterback's back, even if he's not your normal quarterback and whatever. But like, you just think that your quarterback gets blasted in the head. Mm-hmm. Somebody steps up and says, no, you can't do that to our quarterback, and like gets in somebody's face. But again, I just don't even know if there's that. I don't know if this team has any fight in them. Like, I don't think they care. They just don't look like a team. I mean, defensively, they're sieves, and you never see anybody. It feels like nobody ever really gets mad about like another blown assignment. Like, they just look like they're going through the motions and don't care whatsoever right now. I mean, Zeke, for all he said last week about, that loss was on me and I'm going to be the solution, like, there was nothing yesterday that indicated that he cared any more than he did the week previous. Like, his attempts at blocking the blitzer, I don't know. It feels like Mike McCarthy, I would say, lost the team, but I don't know that he ever had the team. I don't even know if he ever had them to lose. Like, they just don't. It doesn't appear that they care at all to play for this coaching staff.
Yeah, look, it would be unfair to blame this all on that coaching staff and McCarthy. I mean, the players, obviously, they have to share in the blame, but my gosh, it's a disaster. I mean, the Washington football team, with all the problems they've had, 25-3. Cowboys scored 3. Now, I know the Redskins, there I go. The football team has a pretty good defense, but they scored 3 lousy points, and their quarterback now is a guy named Ben DiNucci.
The only reason they scored 3 points is because of a Tony Pollard kickoff return. Like, he returned the ball down to the 30 on the one kickoff. They went nowhere, kicked the field goal. That's it. Like, without the Tony Pollard kick return, they're not scoring.
Can we finally strip these guys of America's team, that moniker? Come on. How long's it been? Vincent is dialed in at 360-8255. Vincent, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Morning, guys. Let me just make a couple of quick comments. I'm not a Cowboy hater, but I think that they need to put Tony Pollard out on the field. They need to put the ball in his hands. He's the fastest guy that they got. And I understand paying Zeke Elliott $90 million, but you got a guy that can make plays for you. And he's running, 2 or 3 plays a game? Now I give them, the offensive line has been jacked up this year with injuries. The one guy that came back, he was the one that had a concussion last week. So when you take a starting offensive line off of a team through injuries, retirement, or whatever, and with the new coaching system coming in place, lack of preseason, the training regimen that you normally have, I can see you having some challenges. But they need to put that man on the field. I'm not even saying that because he's University of Memphis grad. I'm saying that you got a playmaker with that kind of ability. Get him out in the open space. They don't run enough plays for him, and I don't. That's been something that's been puzzling me for last year. This is 3rd year in the league or 2nd year, whatever it is. They have not run enough plays for him. And as far as the Titans is concerned, I loved Stephen Gostkowski, but you know what? When he was kicking for New England, that guy was money. He would break hearts all over the place. And now he gets with the Titans, he's missing every other important kick. I don't understand that. And as far as the Tigers are concerned, I'm surprised that they're doing as well as they are, losing all the offensive production with all the COVID-19 issues. And I'm concerned about people who do have that. My heart goes out to families. But I'm surprised that Memphis has done as well. And that bodes well for Ryan Silverfield and the fact that he's able to keep that shit together. So that's all I got for this morning.
Thank you, Vince. Good call. Appreciate that.
I agree on the Pollard thing.
I've been saying that on Twitter about Pollard. He's
I don't
right.
know why they don't use Pollard in there with Zeke, and especially when you know that your offensive line is terrible. So you can't you're going to have to throw a lot of short passes and dump offs. I think you need to try and get creative and use Tony Pollard in some of those things. And you could put him out there with Zeke, maybe put both of them in the backfield. I do think they need to be a little bit more creative in trying to get him the ball. Yes, there's a lot of offensive weapons on that team. So they're trying to spread around. But right now, you can't really do anything deep because your quarterback will get killed with that offensive line. And that's through no fault of anybody's other than the injuries and have just decimated that offensive line.
Well, the offensive line's horrible. The defense is horrible. But I agree with Vincent. I've been saying it, on Twitter, anybody who follows me, about Tony Pollard getting him more involved. Gostowski, look, he had hip surgery. I'm not making that as an excuse because he had the game where he kicked 6 or 7 field goals, whatever it was. But, yes, it has been much tougher for him resurrecting his career with the Titans. He's been up and down. Like I said earlier, it's a roller coaster, whereas in New England, he was as consistent as any kicker in the history of the game. I don't know if it's a hip, and he's absolutely right on with Ryan Silverfield. Guys are really stepping up. They lost an awful lot of talent, and to still be as competitive as they are, to continue to win games at their rate, says an awful lot about the coaching staff being able to get other players from recruiting that are able to take over when these studs leave, and they become studs themselves. That's certainly a feather in the cap of this coaching staff, the way they've been recruiting.
A couple of texts here. Somebody says, Dallas needs to try a different quarterback, and running back Elliott is not doing anything. Well, they don't have any real options at quarterback. I mean, now they are, Ben DiNucci. And I thought Andy Dalton was, having him as a backup quarterback, I thought this is fantastic. Like that's a pretty darn good backup quarterback. Again, it's hard to judge in a lot of ways because of the offensive line. But in the 2 weeks he's played, he's been terrible. he was awful.
Yeah, he looks
he
looks like a deer in
awful.
Headlights. Yeah, he's not mobile at all.
And somebody else says it seems rather clear for whatever reason the Cowboys have opted out of this season. The defense opted out, that's for sure. And then yesterday the offense completely opted out.
Dennis, if you can hold on through the timeout, we'll come back. We'll start with you. I know we got our 5 favorite songs coming up, but I also want to talk about Brady's performance against Las Vegas, the crazy Sunday night game. If you want to participate, you certainly can at 360-8255 First Bank phone lines, or hit us up via the First Bank text line at 67129. 2 hours in the books, 1 big hour still to go. This is Sports 56 Middays.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Water damage to your home or business can be an absolute nightmare. And the faster you remove the standing water, the faster you can prevent secondary damage. Landmark Construction and Emergency Services specializes in water extraction. They have been a trusted name in the Mid-South for over 20 years. They are a Memphis-based company ready to serve your needs with their 24-hour emergency response. They are always on call and will respond within an hour. They work with most insurance companies and are the official restoration contractor of the Memphis Tigers home team. Landmark Construction and Emergency Services can't prevent disasters in your home and at your business, but their water damage team will certainly respond quickly to minimize and restore the damage. Call 901-452-0390. That's 901-452-0390 or online at landmarkco.org.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Election Day is November 3rd. If you plan to vote by mail, plan ahead at usps.com/votinginfo. There you will find helpful resources, such as guidance for successfully using the mail. links to find your state's rules and deadlines, information for military and overseas voters, and more. The U.S. Postal Service is ready to deliver for you. Make sure you're ready too. Start today at USPS.com/voting-info.
You get to choose that gossip Kia on the Pike. Right now, take your pick from 2021 Kia Forte or 2020 Kia Soul. $149 a month lease, 36 months. Plus the all-new 2021 Kia K5 with more passenger cargo headroom and legroom volume than Toyota Camry. Plus a warranty that blows Toyota away with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Now $189 a month lease, 36 months. And get 2020 K900, $10,000 off MSRP. So get your Kia on at Gossip Kia 1900 Covington Pike or shop 24/7 KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J and he'll put you in a new Kia today.
Leases $31.49 due at signing. 0 security deposit excludes ACQ fee $10,000 per year. 20 cents excess mileage. $650 acquisition fee. Forte ME $275 $992 MSRP $20,510. Sold L706 $3372 MSRP $21,885. K5 MG 003199 MSRP $25,725. K900 MSRP $65,610. L60 $26,907. L60 $21,220. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF $695 excludes tax on license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 11/1/2020. Dealer stock only. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
With so many new pet owners, Keezia's Grooming can't keep up.
Keezia's Grooming. Sorry, we're booked solid through the weekend. I can give you a call back, though, if something opens up.
It's time to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. The moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Indeed delivers 2.5 times more hires than the other branded job sites combined, according to Breezy HR 2019. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first job post. Terms and conditions apply.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, WPGFLP Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back. 12:04 at the time. Final hour for us today here on this Monday edition of Middays. Greg, Eli, and Gabe were in the Family Leisure Studios, where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. They got the world's biggest spa sale going on right now. When you stop by to check out those terrific spas, make sure to ask for an official Sports 56 mask while supplies last. And as Mr. Announcer Man said, East Memphis Ace Hardware is the third-hour sponsor of Middays each and every day. 5143 Quince Road, right next door to Billy Hardwick's All-Star Lanes for convenience service. Knowledge and price, it's East Memphis Ace Hardware, online at acehardware.com, where they offer free shipping. Give them a call at 901-683-8688, open Monday through Saturday, 8 to 7, Sunday, 10 to 4. We'll get to our 5 favorite songs here in a few minutes and get back to the NFL discussion as well as the World Series. Dennis has held on through the break. We appreciate that. Let's bring Dennis on to the show. Hi, Dennis. How are you?
Hey, guys. You guys doing all right?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I am. Well, look, man, I just want to say a couple things. First, I am a Cowboy fan, but, man, I have to take my hat off to the Titans, man. They look good, and I think they'll see the Steelers again down the road. You know, a couple plays here or there, kick here or there, they would have won the game. So let me say that. And I just kind of want to ask you guys a question. And also as a Cowboy fan, I opted out on the rest of the season. I'm waiting on the Tigers basketball season to start, man.
I hear that, Dennis.
Yeah.
I couldn't watch yesterday. I could not watch yesterday. I was like, this is too much for me. I cannot watch this crap.
Yeah, I couldn't. So I just want to ask you guys a question. What do you think about it now? I think it's going to get real interesting if the Cowboys don't win any more games, which is possible. Do you think that they would get into Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes?
They got 2 wins right now. Let's take a look at the standings.
They're not going to end up with the number 1 overall pick. I don't see how the Jets are going to lose their grip on the number 1 overall pick. I do think they could be. There's a good chance they're going to be up there with a very high pick. I don't know that you could get into Trevor Lawrence, but I do wonder about Justin Fields.
As bad as the Cowboys are right now with the 2 wins, there's a bunch of teams that only have 1 win, and the Jets are the only winless team. So they wouldn't be in that position right now. But that would be interesting if they do get into that position, Dennis. Like Eli said, even if it's not the number 1 for Lawrence, and it's presumed that Lawrence would be the number 1 quarterback, but Justin Fields is the real deal. What would they do with the situation with Dak Prescott? That's very interesting.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, man. And Eli, I agree with you, man. They're not playing. They're not playing, man. They're just out there. So I agree with you, and I know you guys got to get on with the show, man. But thanks for taking my call.
Thanks, Dennis. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it.
I mean, personally, you don't know my beliefs and how you handle quarterbacks and paying them a bunch of money.
Mm-hmm.
If they could get Justin Fields in the first round, sorry, Dak. I love you and all, but if I can get a guy on a rookie contract for the next 5 years rather than a guy making $35 to $40 million for the next 5 years, I'll tell you which way I'm going.
Speaking of quarterbacks, Tampa Bay beat Vegas in Vegas 45-20 to improve to 5-2. Vegas, not a bad team. They're 3-3, but they got beat by 25 points. Tom Brady threw for 369 yards. He was 33 of 45, 5 total touchdowns, 4 passing, 1 running. Tom Brady has found the fountain of youth. And with the weapons they have and the weapon they're going to add in Antonio Brown, assuming his feet are grounded and he's ready to work, this is a Super Bowl caliber team. And is Tom Brady, has he already won that debate with everybody if it's Belichick or was it Brady in New England? I still believe it's obviously the combination. But is this making Belichick look bad and Brady look that much better that he was the guy, he was the reason why the Patriots did what they did?
I mean, if you get into having that debate, I mean, obviously it's going a lot better for him than it is for Belichick since the separation. But I don't. To me, that's not a debate one way or another because it's a completely different situation.
Oh my gosh, they're debating that. They've been debating that.
No,
since
I know.
The day
Again, I know
left.
there's people are. I'm just saying I don't look at it that way. So I don't. To me, it doesn't. He didn't win anything. It's just he's got a much better team he's playing with than what Belichick's coaching right now. So the obvious that Tampa Bay's going to win more games than New England.
But he's what is he? 42. How old's Brady? 42.
Yes, I believe 42.
And it's pretty crazy what he is doing at the age of 42. In the meantime, it started out well with New England when they brought in Cam Newton. It is not going well right now. The Patriots lose, and they weren't even competitive at home to San Francisco, 33-6. And the former 49er, Jimmy Garoppolo, the former Patriot, now 49er starting quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, goes up against his former team. So he had that little added incentive. Cam Newton was 9 of 15 for 98 yards and 3 interceptions, was benched. Jarrett Stidham took over, was 6 of 10, 64 yards, and he had an interception. And Cam Newton said he was embarrassed by his performance and admits his job may be in jeopardy. The Patriots' run in the playoffs may be in jeopardy.
Yeah, that was a terrible performance by Cam. I don't know, with the whole COVID situation and missing time, I don't know if that has anything to do with it or whatever, but that was awful. That was, and I mean, it's not like the 49ers have been great this year, so this wasn't like some unbelievable 49ers team he's playing against. This is a team that other quarterbacks have had some success against, and he just looked like he had no clue out there.
Another quarterback, young Justin Herbert, the rookie for the Chargers from Oregon, 27 of 43, 347, 3 touchdowns, 9 carries, 66 yards, and a touchdown, as the Chargers were 10 better than Jacksonville.
I've been extremely impressed with Herbert. He looks really good to me in just getting these first few games and kind of thrown in there, and when they weren't planning on doing it, I think he has looked really, really good.
And they kind of lucked into him. I'm not talking about drafting him. I'm talking about this season. It was going to be Tyrod Taylor. If it wasn't for the fact that their guy poked him in the lungs or whatever he did with the needle he gave him, Justin Herbert probably would be on the bench. And Tyrod Taylor would still be out there as quarterback because that was Anthony Lynn's guy. He was going with Tyrod Taylor. So it's interesting how things turn out. Also, one of the greats, Aaron Rodgers, bounces back from a disaster against Tampa Bay last week as the Green Bay Packers ran away with it from the Houston Texans. And another huge game for Aaron Rodgers, 35-20. Green Bay 5-1, Texans 1-6. Aaron Rodgers 23 of 34 for 283 and 4 touchdowns. And Devontae Adams was great, as he usually is. 13 catches, $196, and 2 touchdowns. Kansas City won in the snow in Denver. Le'Veon Bell made his debut, 6 totes for 39 yards. Patrick Mahomes was fine, but they won this game with defense. They had a pick six. They won this game with special teams, a 102-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Kansas City is just that well-rounded of a team.
That's the thing that, I mean, it isn't just their offense. Like, they're just good. They are really, really good. I just think it's going to be really hard for somebody to beat them.
The Bills beat the Jets 18-10. This game was crazy because the Bills did not have a touchdown, yet never punted. They kicked 6 field goals, attempted 8 of them. Tyler Bass was 6 of 8. Josh Allen had 307 yards passing and 61 yards running, but they didn't score a TD, and they beat the Jets to improve to 5-2. And then finally, the Sunday night game was crazy. Arizona's 5-2. 5-2. And again, I'll admit it, I know you were on the same bandwagon as me with Kyler Murray. He's been great. I didn't expect that. We know what Russell Wilson is. He's probably the MVP, but last night he threw 3 interceptions. And then in a crazy game that went into overtime, Seattle loses to Arizona. They blow the lead, 37-34. Arizona misses the 1 field goal attempt, Zane Gonzalez, and then he ends up kicking the game winner.
Yeah, and that the interception that Wilson threw there in overtime, I don't even know what was that, because that ball was nowhere near a receiver. Like, the receiver that was in the air wasn't even looking anywhere near where I don't know what the heck happened on that play, but that was a terrible throw or something. I don't know what was going on, but that was not a play you normally see Russell Wilson make.
No, Wilson keeps plays alive because he's so intelligent and he gets out of the pocket and can move pretty well. But he will eat it, or he'll just throw it away. He won't take a sack. He doesn't throw balls up for grabs, and he just kind of threw that one and floated it up for grabs. It was pretty incredible. But again, Arizona, Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray, they're 5-2. They got a lot of talented players, big names that you remember from college that have all stepped up for the Cardinals this year.
Well, and getting DeAndre Hopkins was a huge move to give that extra weapon on the outside. But yeah, Kyler Murray, man, he makes plays. He has he's a great runner. He's so fast, and he continues to find ways to make plays, and they continue to find ways to win.
Yeah, let's look back at that trade. Who won that trade for DeAndre Hopkins? The Texans are 1-6, and their coach / GM is out of a job, and the Cardinals are now 5-2. I mean, come on. I know it's not all Hopkins, but you bring in Hopkins to go along with the consummate professional Larry Fitzgerald. Now, they did lose Kenyon Drake last night, but Hopkins makes Christian Kirk that much better.
Right. Because it bumps everybody down the pecking order. Now you got to dedicate your coverage to DeAndre Hopkins, so that means everybody else becomes that much better. And we're seeing Kirk produce. I mean, Larry Fitzgerald always produces, just continues to do his thing. I mean, they are. You bring a guy like that onto your wide receiving core, just gonna make everybody that much better.
All right, I'll tell you what. Let's take a timeout, and then we'll come back with our 5 favorite songs. You still have time to get your lists in. The topic today is the word move or moved or moving. Any of that combination you can use in the title of your song. You can send in via the First Bank text line at 67129. If you are watching us live, you can message us with the lists at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram. Then we'll dive back into the football world, both college and the NFL, and talk World Series as well.
Fleet Feet, the place to go to get all your running gear. You're going to get shoes just right for you. That's the best way to do it. You want to make sure shoes that are fit you properly and based on the way you run or walk are built just right for you. And the folks at Fleet Feet can do that for you as you go in there. Either one of the 2 locations, they'll take a look at the way you run or the way you walk, where you put pressure on different parts of your foot, and then fit you with shoes just right for you based on the way you run or walk. Plus, they've got your shorts and shirts and sunglasses and hats and socks, all of the other running gear that you would possibly need. They are all about the runners over at Fleet Feet. They're all runners themselves over at Fleet Feet. In East Memphis, they're located in the Laurelwood Shopping Center. That's there next to Panera Bread Company. Out in Collierville at the corner of Poplar and Houston Levy, next door to the Hueys. That's where you'll find the 2 locations of Fleet Feet. You also find them online at fleetfeetmemphis.com.
This is Sports 56 Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 98.5 FM.
Memphis Tiger fans, catch the Blue and Gray Show with John Stacy and Drew Barrett, Sunday nights from 5 till 7, right here on Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
All 75 months at 2.99, Mirage LHO 10129, G4 LHF 07863, Eclipse LZO 15893, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 11/1/2020 with approved credit, dealer stock only.
How about a brand new ride that gets 43 mpg highway, seats 5, plus costs less than $4 a day? We Gossett at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. 2020 Mitsubishi Mirage, buy for $11,100 or $99 a month. 2020 G4, 41 mpg highway, $139 a month, or buy for $12,435. And 2020 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, $19,107 or $229 a month. Plus confidence today, tomorrow, and long into the future with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Mirage, $99 a month. Mirage G4, $139 a month. And Eclipse Cross, $229 a month. Get to Gossett Mitsubishi today, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Of course we can help you with that oil change. Doing it yourself is a great way to save some money. Right now you can get 5 quarts of Castrol GTX high mileage motor oil and an STP oil filter for just $28.99. And we've got even more ways to get it. Just order online with our next day delivery or free same day store pickup. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farm All, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farm All that's right for you.
NFL fans, go to NFLshop.com and get your favorite player's jersey, name, and number t-shirt or collectible. Are you ready for the next game? Shop now for the most up-to-date assortment for all 32 teams, including face coverings. NFL Shop has game day covered with jerseys, apparel, and at-home essentials for cheering on your team. You'll choose from the largest assortment for all 32 teams, as NFL Shop is the destination for officially licensed NFL gear. Head to NFLshop.com today for your special offer.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
He was a hard-headed man. He was brutally handsome. She was terminally pretty.
We've mentioned at different times in the show, looking back at the NFL, the names Antonio Gibson, Tony Pollard, Stephen Gostkowski. Tonight, Monday Night Football, which you can hear right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 98.5. You got the Bears at the Rams. So you have Anthony Miller of the Bears and Darrell Henderson of the Rams that will be in action for those respective teams. Ryan Silverfield meeting the media today said TJ Carter is still day-to-day. He's missed the last couple of games. It would be nice to have him back for the Cincinnati game on Saturday. He also said that Cincinnati isn't allowing Memphis to use Nippert Stadium Field for a walkthrough on Friday because there's an FC Cincinnati game Wednesday night, and Cincinnati is going to be lining the field on Friday. Do you buy that one? Gabe?
I just think they don't want them walking the field. I
sounds
think
that
that's
way,
what it
doesn't
sounds like. I think you could find a way to line it before Friday for a football game. It probably will be lined by then, too. I think this is just an interesting excuse from their end.
Exactly. Sounds like a little gamesmanship here going on. Gamesmanship between the Bearcats and the Tigers, not allowing the Tigers to get a walkthrough. They're going to have to end up doing the walkthrough in a parking lot or in the hotel lobby, somewhere like that. Time now for our 5 favorite songs.
Five favorite songs.
All right, today it is the topic of the word move or moved or moving, any variation. Text in at 67129 if you haven't done so already with your 5 favorite songs. 5 favorite songs. Or you can watch us live and message us with your list at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram. Gabe, do you have a preference since I didn't tell you already which order?
I don't have a preference.
You want to lead us off today?
Yeah, of course I'll lead us off.
We'll go Gabe, Eli in the hole.
Okay.
He's on deck. I'm in the hole. Eli will be 2, I'll be 3, and then we'll get to our listeners.
All right, well, I'm going to go an honorable mention. There's no chance you guys know what this is, but it's a dance song, Moving Like Bernie by Issa. Moving like Bernie. The real ones, no. The real ones, no.
Does that have anything to do with the Weekend at Bernie's?
No, absolutely
The Bernie?
not.
Well, that Bernie didn't move very much.
No,
If you're moving like that, Bernie, that's pretty bad.
Well, they moved.
That's me
That
on
would
the
be,
dance floor.
that'd be a funny dance.
That's what I look like on the dance floor. I have moves like Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's on the dance floor. That's exactly me.
I might have to at the break show you guys this dance. Pretty hilarious.
So Eli doesn't have moves like Jagger. He has moves like Bernie. Okay.
You must have moves like Jagger on your list. That's why you're bringing that up.
No.
5, Bust a Move by Young MC.
Mm-hmm.
4, Bob Seger with Night Moves. 3, Move Bleep, Get Out the Way by Ludacris. I didn't want to say the other one, so Move Bleep. 2, Something in the Way She Moves by James Taylor. And then number 1.
Ready for action, nip it in the bud, we never relaxing. Outcast is everlasting, not clashing, not at all. But see, my went to do a little acting. Now that's for anyone asking. Give me one and pass them. Drip, drip, drop, there goes an orgasm. Now you coming out the side of your face, we tapping right into your memory banks. Thanks. So click at the ticket, let's see your seatbelt fasten. Trunk rattling like 2 midgets in the back seat wrestling. Speaker box vibrate the tag, make it sound like aluminum cans in a bag. But I know y'all wanted that 808, can you feel that BASS bass? But I know y'all wanted that 808, can you feel that BASS bass?
The Way You Move by Outkast.
Good song. By the way, let me mention this before we had a little controversy. You had Something in the Way She Moves. Wait, what was the song by James Taylor? What's the proper title of the song?
Something in the Way She Moves.
Yeah, Something in the Way She Moves, which is perfect. But the song by the Beatles, sung by George Harrison, is called Something. So don't include any Beatles Something song because it's not Something in the Way She Moves. Just clarifying in case that happens. All right, Eli, what do you got?
Okay. Got an honorable mention going to the Jeffersons theme, Moving On Up. One of the great TV theme songs of all time. Number 5, Bust a Move, Young MC. Number 4, I Feel the Earth Move, Carole King. Number 3, Moving Out, Anthony Song by Billy Joel. Number 2, Night Moves by Bob Seger. And number 1. Company.
Didn't even have this as a considered song because I didn't remember this song, but now that you've played it, it does ring a bell. I know a lot of Bad Company tunes. This one just didn't jump out at me, but that's a good pick. We agree on 4 of the 5, by the way, as I get to my list here. Again, the topic being move, moved, or moving. This is the one that you did not include. Number 5, Move It On Over by George Thorogood and the Delaware Destroyers. Number 4, I Feel the Earth Move, Carole King. Number 3, Night Moves, Bob Seger. Number 2, Bust a Move, Young MC. Nearly got number 1, but I couldn't put it into this spot because of this song.
Mama Leone left a note on the door. She said, Sonny, move out to the country. Mom, I'm working too hard to give you a heart attack. You wanna know by now? Who needs a house out in Hackensack? Is that all you get for your money? And it seems such a waste of time. If that's what it's all about, Mama, if that's moving up, then I'm moving out.
Oh, yeah. Great Billy Joel.
Just don't give your mom a heart attack.
Moving out, Anthony's song. See, I think Ben DiNucci should be somewhere in this song, you know? Ben DiNucci can give you a heart attack. All right, there you go. That's our lists. What about our listeners, Eli?
Carolyn, number 5, Moving in Slow Motion by Sweet Remains. Number 4, Moving On and Getting Over by John Mayer. Number 3, Move On, Be Strong by Lil Peep. Are you familiar with Lil Peep, Gabe?
I am. He is unfortunately deceased now.
Oh, I thought that's what you got at Easter. I thought that's what you got at Easter. The Little Peeps.
Do you like Peeps?
Nope.
Okay.
Number 2, Bust a Move.
I don't trust people that like the Peeps.
Well, you can trust me now because I don't like Peeps.
Number 1, The Way You Move, Outcast and Sleepy Brown. Honorable mention to Moves Like Jagger by Maroon 5. Zed, number 5, Make Your Move, Third Day. Number 4, Move Me On Down the Line, ZZ Top. Number 3, Night Moves, Bob Seger. Number 2, Something in the Way She Moves, James Taylor. And number 1, Move by Mercy Me. Let's see. Downtown Leo. Number 5, Moving On, Bad Company. Number 4, Time to Move On, Tom Petty. Number 3, I Feel the Earth Move, Carole King. Number 2, Moving in Stereo by The Cars.
Forgot that one.
And number 1, Night Moves by Bob Seger. Bobby in Halls, number 5, Move to Memphis by Aha.
Really? Aha's got a Memphis song?
Number 4, Move It On Over, Hank Williams. Number 3, Move It On Up, Jefferson's Theme. Number 2, Move B by Ludacris. And number 1, Night Moves, Bob Seger. Ray in Cordova, honorable mention for Move It Like This by Baha Men. Number 5, I Like to Move It by Will I Am. Number 4, I Feel the Earth Move. Number 3, Moving On. Number 2, Night Moves. And number 1, Moving Out. Raider Corey, honorable mention, Moving On Up, Jefferson theme song. Number 5, Night Moves, Bob Seger. Number 4, Bust a Move. Number 3, Move On Up by Curtis Mayfield. Number 2, Moves Like Jagger. And number 1, The Way You Move from Outkast. Somebody else says, Moving On Up, the Jeffersons theme song. That's right. Got to give that song its respect.
Gabe, can we play that heading to the break? The Jeffersons theme?
John on Facebook, The Way You Move by Earth, Wind, and Fire. Nobody Move by Eazy-E. Move Me On Down the Line, ZZ Top. The Way You Move, Outkast. And Night Moves by Bob Seger. So he says, shout out to Gabe from a Georgia boy for having Luda and Outkast. Showing respect to the folks down there.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see here. I believe I got to all of them.
That it? Okay.
Yes, I think that is it.
All right, so you got the word that pays for tomorrow. What do we got?
Tomorrow we are going to go with Air.
Air.
AIR, not ERROR.
But we can't include like any song from Air Supply, right?
If they've got a song that has air in the title. But, so yeah, as long as they got airplane, air, anything. As long as there's air. As long as there's air involved.
Sounds good. Got some news from Matt Norlander, who's a senior writer, covers college hoops for CBS Sports. He said, I'm getting some text that ESPN has officially sent out word to teams that all of its Orlando-based events, though I don't have clarity on the Champions Classic, have been canceled due to complications and lack of agreement on COVID-19 testing and protocols put forth by Disney. Now, I don't know off the top of my head how many events for the upcoming college basketball season were scheduled for Disney, for the resort, but apparently, according to Matt, that could be an issue, and they're either going to.
I mean, they were moving some. They're going to be moving some of those preseason tournaments.
So they don't have any tournaments normally on the schedule that are played in Disney.
There might be, but I mean but the thought was they were going to use that as a bubble to move some of these other tournaments there. That's but I guess now they're scrapping all of that and not going to try and do that. So teams are still trying to figure out, I guess, what they're going to do for some of these preseason or early season tournaments. A couple of texts here on the First Bank text line. So this is, could Jerry be desperate enough to look at Paxton Lynch? That's from Wayne. Anything's possible in 2020. Well, if Andy Dalton is out for any period of time, like, they have to go get a quarterback of some sort. They have to have another quarterback along with DiNucci.
All right, let me ask you this. Do you give up a late draft pick, let's say a 5th or a 6th, if you can get Ryan Fitzpatrick? Do you care?
No, because what's that doing for you? Like, even if, let's say, you win the division, you're going to get killed in the first playoff game. Like, it's not. So what's the purpose at this point? I am all aboard the tank train. Just get me the best draft pick possible.
No, I understand that, but do you think Jerry Jones, in a year that he probably was thinking that Dallas would be really formidable and would have a chance in the postseason, is going to want to go tank mode?
Well, you have to realize things.
He doesn't realize anything.
They're not getting their guys back. Like, the 2 offensive tackles not coming back this year. Dak not coming back this year. Like, they aren't injuries where, like, okay, you think, boy, if we could maybe just hold it together for a little while, we could get to, like, you're not getting these guys back. They're all done for the year. So it's not going to get better. It just is what it is right now. So you have to Yeah, he probably thought they were going to be better. That was also with your starting offensive line. They have one starting offensive lineman right now that's actually playing, and they've got a couple of third-string guys that are playing on the offensive line. So you have to adjust expectations and have realizations of, like, what this season is, what's possible this season, and going to get Ryan Fitzpatrick, what really is that going to do for you?
Well, if you care about making the playoffs, because they're still, a half a game out of the playoffs? They're still, believe it or not, as bad as they are, they're still there. If they really care about that, making the playoffs, and I would think Jerry Jones cares about that, then you're going to have to do something. Now, Andy Dalton could return, correct?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure he's going to be back. I don't know how long. I mean, I don't know if he's going to, if he missed this week or when exactly he's going to be back. But yeah, I mean, Andy Dalton, I would assume, is going to be back at some point. Yes.
Right. So I mean, if it was an ACL or something like that, and Dalton was gone, obviously you have to get another quarterback. But the chances of Ben DiNucci surviving the rest of the season behind that offensive line, or anybody surviving, is pretty bad. So I don't even know if a veteran quarterback would want to come there, even with the chance that they still could somehow win that division and sneak into the playoffs.
If Dalton has to miss a game, you have to have another quarterback. Like, they got to get something. Exactly. They can't go into the game with one quarterback. They have to have somebody.
They have to have another one, but
who that is, I don't know. Like, I'm sure
Paxton. I mean, it could be Paxton Lynch. It's not crazy what that person said. I mean, who was ever available that wants a job, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there. But Fitzpatrick, who is not happy that he has to hand the reins over to Tua, would he want to go play for a team, even as bad as they are, that could make the postseason? Probably not, because he would get killed because of that offensive line. You're talking about no mobility with Fitzmagic. So, yeah, that's probably not going to happen. Probably unlikely.
Somebody else asked where the football Tigers are ranked in the polls.
I mentioned earlier that the Tigers are not in either poll, but they are number 26 in the AP poll, receiving 105 votes. And if the coaches poll was stretched out, they would be 28th with 88 votes. Look, if they win Saturday at Cincinnati, they're firmly in the top 25 with a bullet. Moving
What
on
is
up.
Cincinnati? Cincinnati's 7th in the one?
Cincinnati in the AP is 7th. In the coaches, they're 7th. So they're
They're
the
both
same.
okay, 7th in both.
Yeah, so that would be a huge win. All right, Lane Kiffin responding to the media today in his Monday presser about the officials. He said, had to take a 5-minute power yoga class to calm down before talking to the media following the call with SEC officiating today. Kiffin said he can't tell fans or players or media what league told him regarding the muffed kickoff versus Auburn. The NBA has the report where they, what is it called? The last 2-minute report?
Yeah.
Where they admit to mistakes. The NFL, usually when they screw up, they have something like that as well, right?
They'll put out statements.
They'll put out statements.
And the SEC has done that too. They put out a
That's
statement
what I was going to ask you.
when they did the Arkansas game against Auburn earlier. The SEC put out a statement.
So do you expect the SEC to put out anything as far as this is concerned? That play?
I would guess if they were going to put something out, they probably would have already done it, but maybe something comes later today.
Okay.
Yeah, I would, I don't know on something like this. I think, because I don't like the Arkansas one. I think they felt probably needed more explanation. This is, I think, the thing is like, listen, our replay official didn't see enough there to say that it touched the guy's hand. It is what it is. Like that's his job. He didn't think it touched the guy's hand, and so unless they put out statements saying that he was wrong and it did touch his hand, and sorry, Ole Miss, but you got screwed. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they will do something like that or not.
The replay official was using the lavatory when that kickoff took place. Purdue head coach Jeff Brom said he should be able to return to the team facility on Wednesday after testing positive for COVID-19 last week. He did not coach his team's win over Iowa on Saturday. What was it again with the coaches in the Big Ten? Is it 10 days?
Yeah, I believe it's mandatory 10 days, I think, for them.
Okay, so he should be back, but we have not heard anything new about Graham Mertz, the quarterback for Wisconsin, who originally tested positive. They're waiting for another test and the results today. That kid was sensational in Wisconsin's win over Illinois, excuse me.
So this is like, just got this alert on my phone. Stephen Jones says Cowboys are going in the right direction.
Well,
based
if going
on
south
what?
is the right direction.
What? How? Yeah, I guess if the plan was to tank, they've lost the last 2 games by a combined 63 to 13.
They scored 3 points against the football team.
I mean, what in the world could you possibly say is going in the right direction based on a 38-10 loss and then a 25-3 loss to a terrible team?
There's not much you can say going positive. I don't know how you can say you're going in the right direction.
If he means like technically when they get the football and they line up offensively, they are facing the right direction. They have not lined up backwards yet. He is correct. They usually 100% of the snaps, they have actually lined up to head in the right direction. They don't always go in that direction. They do go backwards some, but they are actually lining up headed in the right direction.
Maybe it meant the team flying back to Dallas. The plane was going in the right direction to actually land in the Dallas area. Memphis and Tennessee sports fans out there, sports betting is almost here, and FanDuel Sportsbook is giving you an exclusive offer to get started. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook is giving users $50 in free bets just for signing up. You heard that right. They're giving you $50 in free site credit to register and verify early. No deposit required. FanDuel is America's #1 sports betting site for a reason. They've got odds on all the biggest sports and a simple, intuitive app that makes it easy to find the bet you're looking for, then lock it in. Perhaps tonight's Bears-Rams Monday Night Football game. And unlike other sports books, once you win, FanDuel gives you your cash in as little as 24 hours. Why? Well, it's the right thing to do. But right now, the right thing for you to do is download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and check out their fantastic app for yourself. Just be sure to sign up and register using promo code GASMAN so they know we sent you. When you verify your account, you'll receive $50 in site credit when FanDuel Sportsbook is live. That's promo code GASMAN to get $50 in site credit when FanDuel Sportsbook goes live, which is in just a few days. You must be 21 or older. You must live in Tennessee or be present in Tennessee. Site credit is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Terms apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. For problem gambling support, call 1-800-889-9789. The World Series has been incredible. We will discuss in our final segment. But let's enjoy a little television theme song here.
In the sky, moving on up to the east side. We finally got a piece of the pie.
Want to get your voice heard? Hit us up on the First Bank phone line or First Bank text line.
Jeep Adventure Days and Ram Power Days are rocking at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on Covington Pike. And guess who's got #1 ranked brand in initial quality and driver appeal among mass market brands? We Gossett! 2020 Jeep Cherokee Latitude IIHS top safety pick. $21,560 or $275 a month. Or get muscle with 2020 Dodge Challenger XST with best in-class cargo volume. $24,348 or $314 a month. Plus get rammed up in a 2020 Ram 1500 Classic Crew Cab 4x2. We Gossett at $388 a month. Drive past the rest. Come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat 1901 Covington Pike. Online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
Ranked by J.D. Power's IQS and appeal studies. All 75 months at 4.11 APR. 3,500 down. Must finance through Chrysler Cherokee. LD 643160. MSRP 28,190. Challenger LHS 214,740. MSRP 31,180. Ram LG 293,29. MSRP 37,855. Includes all rebates and incentives. Kia 695. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 11/1/2020 with approved credit dealer stock only.
You have to be up in 5 hours, 2 hours, 6 minutes. And when you hear, you realize that you haven't slept a wink. That's why there's ZzzQuil Pure Z's, a drug-free blend of botanicals with an optimal dose of melatonin so you can fall asleep naturally with no next-day grogginess. It's available in both liquid and gummies, tastes great, and is non-habit forming. Pick up ZzzQuil Pure Z's from the sleep experts at Vicks ZzzQuil. ZzzQuil Pure Z's, naturally superior sleep. Available at retailers near you.
36-month leases, $31.49 due at signing. 0 security deposit. Excludes ACQ fee, $10,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage, $650 acquisition fee. Forte ME 275,992, MSRP 20,510. Sold L706 3372, MSRP 21,885. K5 MG 003,199, MSRP 25,725. K900 MSRP 65,610. L60 26,907. L60 21,220. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 11/1/2020. Dealer stock only. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details. Where can you find best mass market branded initial quality? 5 years running for Kia with J.D. Powers. We Gossett at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah. Take your pick. 2021 Kia Forte or 2020 Kia Soul. $149 a month lease, 36 months. 2021 Kia K5 beats Toyota Camry with more passenger cargo headroom and legroom volume. Plus a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. $189 a month lease for 36 months. All just $31.49 due at signing. Plus 2020 K900, $10,000 off MSRP. So come get happy at Gossett Kia, 2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
Family Leisure's done it again. We're talking about the world's biggest spa sale. Up to 30% off on spas and swim spas. Choose from hundreds of different spas from multiple manufacturers. There is special financing available, and if you are in the market, special pricing now as summer starts to dwindle on chemicals and accessories. Always professional delivery available. The spas are going crazy at Family Leisure, I-40 and Whidden Road.
As a professional painter, you know your customers want a flat finish, but don't want to pay the price of fighting dirt, grime, and scuffs. Use new Behr Ultra Scuff Defense from the Home Depot for a beautiful flat finish, plus stain and scuff defense. And that price starts at just $29.60 a gallon, and that's before the Pro Extra discount. A flat paint that's too tough to scuff. Behr Ultra Scuff Defense, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Available online and in select stores.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Middle of the road.
It's an off day for the World Series. But the Fall Classic will resume tomorrow with the Dodgers leading the Rays 3-2. They can win it tomorrow. If not, there'll be a Game 7 on Wednesday. The Dodgers trying to win their first World Series title since '88, so 32 years in the making, and trying to avoid losing in the World Series for the third time in 4 years. But, boy, there were some dramatics over the weekend, Eli.
Oh, Saturday night was awesome. That game was just great stuff. The ending is as bizarre as anything you'll ever see. I mean, that was just, I don't know what the hell happened on that whole thing. That was craziness. But man, I mean, that was just a fun game. And then last night was a good game again. And Clayton Kershaw gets another win, trying to put his postseason demons officially behind him. This has been a lot of fun so far.
When baseball is at its best in the postseason, there's nothing like it. I mean, the NFL will always be king, but my gosh, baseball in the dramatic fashion that we saw on Saturday, and then the unlikeliest of heroes. Yes, stars stand out, of course, big names, not always, but a lot of times in the history, the annals of World Series history. But there's also those guys I like to affectionately call bedbugs. Who are these guys? And they end up coming up with big hits, a big mound appearance, a big strikeout to end a game. And Brett Phillips was the hero on Saturday. Brett Phillips, for goodness sakes, with the big hit off Kenley Jansen. And then the Dodgers went Keystone Cops with a couple of errors to end it. Randy Arozarena was dead, running from third, trying to come home. And then Smith lost the ball. Arozarena ends up scoring to even the series up at 2. It was so dramatic. And then, as you mentioned yesterday, Clayton Kershaw becomes the all-time leader in strikeouts in the postseason. He has flipped the narrative from a guy who couldn't win the big one in the postseason to a dude who's 4-1 in the postseason this year. Great performance, and the Dodgers got 2 shots now at winning it all.
Dre texts in on the First Bank text line, says, do you think Jansen will close any more games in the World Series for the Dodgers? I mean, it's hard to have confidence in him right now if you're Dave Roberts. They went with Blake Treinen last night, and he's pitched 3 straight games, but they do get the off day today. So, if it comes to a 1 or 2 run game in the 9th inning, tomorrow night, I don't know that he would have that confidence right now to go to Kenley Jansen.
Yeah, my answer would be no. I don't think he does. I don't think he does. By the way, I thought Dave Roberts was pulling Kershaw too early, but Kershaw seemed to understand that, and then afterwards he did say that was the game plan. So who am I to object to that? But I thought, oh my gosh, he just got 2 outs on 2 pitches, and they're pulling him. But it worked for Dave Roberts. He made all the right calls yesterday.
I don't know who it was. Somebody on Twitter, though, they sometimes Twitter, it's normally terrible, but sometimes it's good stuff on there.
What do you mean it's normally terrible?
No, Twitter's a terrible place.
Oh, it's funny. Come on.
Gosh, it's a terrible place. But somebody they synced up Randy Arozarena falling down and Daniel Jones falling down. And they almost looked identical. The way they fell and rolled over was almost identical. It was unbelievable.
It was fantastic. I mean, people are really creative to do that. And you know what's funny when you're watching a game, and it doesn't mean it's just the World Series. This is NFL, college football. It doesn't matter. When you're watching something and you go, oh, that's a meme, or that's going to be, it's on Twitter in 2 seconds. I mean, it's instantaneously. Who was it? It was the guy doing the old, what is this? That guy.
Oh, yeah, the Dodgers fan last night.
The Dodgers fan. That was, boom, 2 seconds. It's on Twitter. 8 different people I follow have already posted it.
That final play Saturday night, it was funny because I was listening to the game on the radio. I was outside, and I had the game on the TV inside, but I was outside, so I was listening on the radio. And when that play happened, I was like, I had no idea. I was like, what in the world just happened?
You didn't know what was going on.
I was like, what? Wait a second. They're talking about people were kicking the ball all over the place. Randy Arozarena fell down. What? I was like, what? I've got to see this. So I went inside. I watched 3. I was like, that is the craziest way to end a World Series game. I mean, the Dodgers had 14 different chances to stop the winning run from scoring, I felt like. Because if Jansen even just blocks behind or backs up the catcher, I think they still get Arozarena.
They have a shot, no question about it. But at least the Dodgers bounced back for their sake and the sake of their fans last night to grab that 3-2 lead. Randy Arozarena, the former Memphis Redbird, has set a record for most postseason hits by a player in World Series history with 27 hits.
Not World Series history, postseason history.
I meant postseason, sorry. Postseason history. Nobody has had more hits. Not Willie Mays or Duke Snider or Mickey Mantle, anybody. It's Randy Arozarena. The other thing I wanted to bring up was, okay, so yesterday there was different shots of the fans that were there, and it's a limited amount of fans that are allowed at Globe Life Field. And every time they showed the fans, nobody was wearing masks. Like, I didn't see one person wearing a mask. So I don't know, in Texas, is masks now, or you don't have to wear them? That's number one. Number two, they go to a woman who's smoking. And it wasn't one of those little things that, for smokers are trying to quit and they, the stuff, I don't even know what they're called. Because she has a lighter next to her. She's got the lighter in one hand. She's smoking a cigarette. So evidently they allow smoking there, and you don't have to wear masks anymore. So I guess anything goes in Texas. I was a little stunned when I saw that stuff. But the World Series has been fantastic. Game 6 tomorrow night. We'll see if the Rays can stave off elimination and force that 7th game.
The old the mask police was coming out in you, wasn't it? The inner mask policeman, just you couldn't resist, could you?
No, I was just wondering. In Texas, you may not have to wear them anymore. I don't know. It's different in Texas. Come on now. It's Texas.
Time now. One final thing.
Before Greg and Eli get out of here for the day, they each have one final thing they think you should know to make it through the rest of your day. So here are Greg and Eli with one final thing.
Harden just texted me up, and he makes a good point that in the history of the game, they didn't play as many postseason games, so those greats didn't have as many games to accumulate those numbers. But still, it doesn't take anything away from what Arozarena has done, hitting the long ball and just collecting hits with 27.
Basically, every postseason record, like the single season, postseason, most this, most that, is all being set in the last, few years. Like, because they just played, and especially this year when you added in the extra wild card series. I mean, it's obviously a different thing, but it's still impressive as hell.
All right, for my one final thing, the college basketball world, I want to say, they were just shaken by yesterday's news from the NCAA about the University of Arizona. But then again, whatever comes of it. But needless to say, there was the news that came down yesterday, if you missed it, that the University of Arizona has been served with 9 allegations of misconduct, including 5, count them, 5 level 1 allegations, which are the most serious under NCAA rules. That's following a multi-year investigation of its men's basketball program. Duh! Who didn't know that was coming? But what's going to come of it? What's going to come of Sean Miller and Will Wade and Bill Self? Greg Marshall, the allegations are different. We're talking about being physical with players and treating them the way he did. That's a whole different story. But what's going to happen with Greg Marshall? There's so many big-name coaches, and they always seem to skate. So I'm not going to get overly dramatic about this as far as something's going to happen to Sean Miller, because it never seems to, even though these are serious allegations.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to end up happening with all of these things. You'd think that something would, but I don't know anymore. It's hard to figure out. All right, so we were talking about Matthew Stafford earlier in the program. Stafford right now is 18th all-time in passing yards with 42,605. He's only 32 years old, which I feel like Matt Stafford, I would have guessed Matt Stafford was like 35, 36. I feel like Matt Stafford's been in the NFL forever.
I'm with you.
And he's only 32 years old. So he's got easily, another 4 or 5 years in him.
You would think, if he stays healthy.
So he will probably, by the time he retires, there's a good chance he will be in the top 10 all-time in passing yards.
Well, it's a pass-happy league now, too, so he's taking advantage of that.
Right now, number 10 is John Elway with 51,475. Aaron Rodgers will pass him, and so that will, But basically, if he gets up into the 53, 54, 55,000 range, which he easily will, he'll have a good chance of being top 10 or just barely outside the top 10 all-time in passing yards.
And again, I think if he was with a different franchise, a really productive, winning franchise, I mean, he would be a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame, because I would imagine those numbers would be as good or maybe even greater, and he'd have all those wins under his belt as well. I think he's a really, really good quarterback that unfortunately has been in Detroit.
If you end up as a top 10 all-time passer, I mean, do you have to go to the Hall of Fame?
I don't know.
They're top 10 all-time in passing yards.
But again, they're throwing the ball more nowadays. There's a big advantage for the offense as opposed to what the defense can and cannot do with physicality. You would think he'd be in, but how important are just the numbers and not the titles or anything that comes along with it? I don't know. That's a very interesting question. Once again, Barrett Sallee was unable to join us today, but he will be back in his normal time slot next Monday. Coming up tomorrow, Connor O'Gara, Jeff Crane from the University of Memphis. We'll have our 5 favorite songs. Once again, the topic will be the word air. We'll have our NFL 3 stars, Humdinger's trivia, 2.5 questions. It's all coming up on the program tomorrow. Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio is coming up next. For Eli Savoy and Gabe Kuhn, I'm Greg Gaston. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, everybody.
I got $100 bill, friend. You keep your